a new unit. Check them out at the aeway.com.
Design.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
The crowd quiets in breathless anticipation. Ball is handed to Malik Monk. Holds it above his head. Throws it to the backcourt to De'Aaron Fox. Fox dances to the line. Gives to Sabonis down the lane. Here comes DeRozan. He mishandles the ball. He saves it. He turns. He launches a desperation attempt. It's no good. Ball game is over. Denver gets the win. 130 to 129.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And it could have been a great night. Could have been a great day. It was still a great game, but unfortunately the Kings were not on the right side of things. And I feel like, unfortunately, that has been a little bit of a trend, right? These great games where both teams pour their heart out. There's one team that walks away with the W. And then there are the Sacramento Kings. And I know if you're like me, you're getting tired of it. You're getting tired of it. And look, I don't want to sit here and call for anybody's job, say that a team stinks, say that the players stink. I'm not going to do that because we have a relationship with the Kings. And honestly, even if we didn't, they don't. And we have so much to show that they don't stink. I think that's the more frustrating part of this. There are so many numbers, whether it's net rating, whether it's offensive rating, defensive rating. There are so many statistics that show that the Kings are a good team, but they can't get it done when it matters. They cannot execute. They are unable to execute when it matters. And now you have guys like Mike Brown, who's got to think about his job security, to be completely honest with you, because when you have a good team and you have a team that has been put in a position to win and they don't win, where else are you going to look? And that's not to say that it should be Mike Brown. Mike Brown didn't eat that bucket of popcorn at the end of the game and fumble the basketball like DeMar DeRozan. Mike Brown didn't come sleepy out of bed like you forgot to drink your coffee, go down 20 in the first quarter. Mike Brown didn't do any of that. But it gets to a point where somebody has to answer for what is happening to the Sacramento Kings. There have been too many situations where they are unable to take care of business when it matters most. Too many situations. The Kings are 2-8. You have the two. How many times are we going to talk about the clutch players? Okay? They're 2-8 in games decided by 5 or less, with two of the supposedly top 5 clutch players in the league. So how can that be true? How can that be a thing? How can you have two of the best clutch players who play at the end of the game, and you lose games. Kyle Ledbetter, before I keep going here, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. That was such a great basketball game last night. I was in the building. It was raucous. It was back and forth, high-octane basketball. I know we make the comparison all the time of the Kings are kind of like the beta version of the Nuggets, and that's the model that they should maybe be ascribing to, but last night, those teams were lockstep, and we talked about it before the game yesterday, how their offensive rating was identical. Their net ratings, 12th and 13th in the NBA. Man, that was an evenly matched, high-scoring, fun basketball game. It's sad that the Kings didn't pull it out at the end, because how fun would it have been to come on here and play that final call, and it's a G-man celebrating a DeMar DeRozan buzzer beater instead of the Kings lose 130-129, but I can't even be mad. That was amazing basketball.
Well, a lot of people can be mad, and a lot of people will be mad as the Sacramento Kings are now back under 500, like you said, Kyle. I mean, what a great opportunity for the Kings. It should have been the brightest beam you've ever seen. It would have been easily the best win of the season. Easily. Best win of the season. No Keegan Murray, no Kevin Huerter. And you are unable. It's even worse. It's even worse what they did to the fans. You could make that argument. If you're going to lay down, lay down. But to come back from 23, give your fans that hope, and then have one of the worst implosions that I've ever seen in the last 2 minutes of the game, it's incredible. This is what I told you, Kyle. So my TV was behind a little bit. I think I had paused it for one reason or the other, and I forgot. So towards the end of the game, and I had it pulled up, it was the last time when I went to look at the stats on my TV, it was 122 to 116 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. So I go to look at the stats because I'm trying to, get ready for what I'm going to post on social media. And I look at the stats. I go to my phone, and it's 123 to 122. I had no clue what happened. I thought it was a typo. And then I remembered, oh, wait, my TV is behind. So then I'm thinking, what happened? How do you go from 122 to 116 to lose the lead? And I watched the whole thing happen. It was a complete disaster. Disaster. I have it here. Jamal Murray makes 2 of 2. That's 122 to 116 with 2:50 left. De'Aaron Fox misses a floater. Still 122 to 116. Westbrook makes a layup where he honestly, I think he got fouled. DeMar DeRozan misses a jumper. I'm pretty sure that was wide open.
Wide open midi.
Aaron Gordon, transition three, he had no business taking that shot. But you know what? This is going to be a very old school radio show today. I'm playing all the hits. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm playing all the hits. De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray splashed in your eye, in your house, to take the lead. I don't give a dang about what the play was. I'm sorry. There should have been some discussion about De'Aaron Fox. Give me the ball. Check up. This is Supermax time. It's not De'Aaron Fox's fault that they lost, but I'm playing all the hits today. Okay? So that happens. How else am I playing the hits? Aaron Gordon makes a 26-foot three-pointer he had no business taking in transition. You want to know why? Because they know what it feels like to have a parade. They've been in this situation before. They're not scared of the moment. You know what happened to the Kings? The Kings, they had an out-of-body experience where they thought they were fans. Everybody last night, when the Kings came back from down 23, what did you say to yourself? You're sitting there, you're either in the building like Kyle, in the front row like Kyle watching the game.
Second deck
like Kyle watching the game. You're either doing that, right? You're either at the game or you're at home. And what happened while you were watching the game? Your wave of emotions, man. The Kings, they're just laying down again. I paid all this money for these Nuggets tickets, and they don't even show up. My kid is crying because Jokic is just embarrassing them. You're at home. You made a nice meal. You made sure the kids got to bed early. They're doing their homework, or you're watching it as a family. Man, we rounded up the whole family for this garbage. That's the first quarter. Then the Kings say, no, we got you. So then you start thinking, oh wait, the Kings are actually playing. The Kings are actually doing it. The Kings surprised themselves. The Kings surprised themselves. And what happens when you're young? You don't care about fear of heights. All that stuff comes when you're older. Nobody has a fear of heights when they're a kid. You're running, you're doing roller coasters. You get a little older, you start thinking about the reality and insurance and things like that. All of a sudden, you're afraid of heights now. You're claustrophobic. You have that experience where you say, "Oh wait, mortality is in front of me." The Kings, they were riding. They had they thought, even though they weren't the underdogs, they were thinking, man, we're about to beat the Nuggets and Jokic and Jamal Murray in our house. We're about to come back from 23 points. This is going to be great. And what happened? They got nervous. Eminem, palms got sweaty. Kyle's got to do his homework. Palms got sweaty. Backsides got tight. And they were unable to execute. That's what happened. They literally said, oh, shoot, we're about to beat the Nuggets at home and complete a 23-point comeback. And their hands got sweaty. And like I said, let's keep going. DeMar DeRozan, no business missing that 11-foot jumper. Oh, wait, it's 122 to 118. There's no way they're going to do it. Aaron Gordon says, I'm about that life. Transition three, he has no business making. Jokic, 123 to 122. You know Jokic is about that life. Now they're up. De'Aaron Fox, I'm going to give him his credit. He makes that jump shot or that floating jump shot, 124 to 123. Jamal Murray makes an 8-footer. Jamal Murray, he had 15 points in the fourth? This is what we're talking. This is why Jamal Murray on his own, a very confusing player. Because he doesn't have any all-stars. He's never really talked about. He can't really stay healthy throughout the duration of a season. But as far as clutch players are concerned, I don't care about your awards. I don't care about where you finish in voting. Jamal Murray is about that life.
Also one of the great postseason players of the last 10 to 15 years.
They felt comfortable. When the Kings started to feel uncomfortable, even though they were winning, they could smell it, Kyle. They could smell the fear. They could smell it. They thought the Kings know they have no business winning this game. When they started missing shots they had no business making, they knew it. They knew it. So right after that, and again, the Kings hung tight. They hung tight, 125 to 124. Okay? De'Aaron makes that three. I got to give credit where credit's due with 40 seconds left. And then they give up. I know Jokic, what was he, 0 for 5 up to that point?
He was 0 for 5, I think 7 for 18 from the field.
But he's a 50% three-point shoot. He doesn't take a lot. I think he took more than he normally takes last night. But, of course, the one that he makes is the one that matters. And you know what I got flashbacks of? Dante Exum last season, where they kept giving Dante Exum the free three in the corner. And when did he make it? At the end of the game. And I don't even think Dante Exum's a big player, making a big play in a big game. But he made that shot, and Nikola Jokic did the same thing. And the Kings are thinking, man, how could he make that shot? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you keep leaving him open. Of course he's going to make that shot. He's a champion. DeMar DeRozan gets that dunk. And I know I'm not the only one. 129, 128, I did not feel comfortable. Nobody felt comfortable. And that's the thing with the Nuggets. You can't bring a double on anybody because of Jokic. So it's De'Aaron, it's Jamal Murray, mano a mano. They run the clock down. It's at 20 seconds. Jamal Murray, Sabonis, as comfortable as they could ever be playing in the two-man game. Jamal Murray sends everybody home. Now let's talk about the last play of the game. I thought it was drawn up beautifully. Like I said, am I going to do the 1990s, I'm the main player, I'm De'Aaron Fox, give me the ball? Yeah, I am.
Oh, I'll hold you in check later.
Good. Yeah, I am. But it was a good play. But you are unable to execute. It was perfect. DeMar DeRozan just fumbled the basketball. Then he had another opportunity and he missed. And look, this is not about, oh man, you're being too hard. I don't know what else to say anymore. Right? I mean, you have to execute. Mike Brown says it all the time. They get paid to win games. So let's talk about why the Kings are not winning games and if they will continue to get paid by the Kings if they don't win games. 4 hours with you. We'll hear from Mike Brown on the other side. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a long one. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Honda Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the wrap-up the year sales event?
Well, I can't believe we made this work. I had to double check to make sure it was legit. But right now you can lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in for as low as $5 a month plus tax for 24 months with $49.95 due at signing.
Sorry, I must have misheard you. Did you say $5 a month?
I know, it's crazy. But for less than the cost of a cup of coffee each month, you can be driving around a brand new Dodge Hornet. But this $5 a month deal can't last long.
Yeah, I can see why. If you want a new car with a monthly payment half the price of a fast food meal, you better hurry into Hoblet Dodge in Woodland. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. $5 for 24-month lease offer before tax and license. Must be California West Business Center resident. Rebates include $6,500 SFS hybrid electric federal tax credit, subject to change without notice, and $2,500 West BC lease cash. $49.95 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year with 30-cent fee per mile over. Tax and license extra. For this net savings, sample VIN A13914. See dealer for details.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And I was so ready. I was just so ready to come on this show, be very excited about everything that's going on with the Sacramento Kings, to keep it rolling, because I do think that they deserve to win. And I think the Nuggets deserve to win. They both do. They both tricked off the game in certain spots, and they both figured it out in certain spots. But unfortunately, the Nuggets figured it out when it mattered the most. And what I was going back and forth with Dave on was the idea that if the Kings don't trick off the first quarter, they would have won. Because we have no reason to believe that. Not this Kings team. We have no reason to believe that if it was 27-27 going into the second quarter, that the Kings would have turned it on. Because that's not what the Kings do. They need their back up against the wall. That's what they have been for the last couple years here. And Mike Brown has talked about it time and time again. But it does not make a difference. It does not make a difference. They are unable to generate urgency. They can't generate urgency for whatever reason it is. You know, it's like they're a team, and this is why I got into the entitlement stuff a couple weeks ago. Maybe that was just last week. This is why I got into the entitlement stuff, because that's the same type of stuff that you saw from these champion teams that were just way better than other teams that think they can turn it on whenever they want, and then they win the game. That's the Chiefs type of stuff. That's the back in the day, the Warriors type of stuff, where it's, oh wait, we got to turn it on now. Okay, now we'll go. Like when you're playing your cousin in Madden or whatever, and you know you can beat them, but you want it to be a good game, right? So you let them score, so it's 14-0, and then you say, okay, now they're good enough to where I'll at least have some fun with this. Maybe I even lose, but I'd rather do that and have it be competitive. That's what the Kings think they are. And they don't have that air about them. They don't sound cocky. They don't talk about already being champions. They don't do any of that. But on the court, I don't know what it is that they are just unable to turn it on without a sense of urgency. So if you're in the conversation of if we're doing that hypothetical game and it's, well, if the Kings never go down that much, then obviously they turn it on the way they turn it on in the second and third quarter, they run the Nuggets out the building. Well, sure. But when have the Kings done that without their backs against the wall? When have they ever turned it on like that? They came back from down 23 to being up 10 in the fourth, and then he's choking. That's more 8 Mile for you. He's choking.
Wow, a lot of Eminem early in the show today.
Because mom's spaghetti, palms got sweaty, or is it palms are heavy, and then they choke the game away. Okay?
No, I think it's arms are heavy. I think the palms are sweaty, but the arms are heavy.
Maybe that's why the ball got fumbled, because the arms were heavy and the palms were sweaty.
Or was that the knees weak?
All of it. That's why the second midi didn't go in.
Maybe. I don't know. But did you feel like, so you're talking about the champions who turn it on when they need to turn it on. Did you feel like the Nuggets were doing that at the end? Because obviously they hit a bunch of shots, but in my mind it was like when the Nuggets ran the lineup of Aaron Gordon, Porter, Murray, Jokic, and Westbrook. Mm-hmm. So the starting five crushed the Kings out the building to start the game.
Yeah.
Perfect final 4 minutes once they went back to the lineup. Everything in between, it felt like the Kings were just the better team. And maybe that's the Nuggets have the same issues the Kings have of too many young guys that weren't playing efficient enough. And Jokic was getting put in the torture chamber by Sabonis. Mm-hmm. But it didn't so much, to me, I don't know how you felt. It felt like the Nuggets just, once they had that lineup in against the Kings with DeRozan at the 4, they just said, we can do whatever we want on offense as long as they had those 4, I'll throw Westbrook in there, but those 4 guys on the floor together.
Yeah, and real quick, I mean, to get to that 20-point lead, I mean, DeRozan got destroyed. That was probably the worst game to be missing Keegan Murray because Aaron Gordon isn't an offensive savant. He just was bodying DeMar DeRozan.
It was from the get-go. It was 5-2.
Yeah.
They had Gordon post up DeRozan, back him down to the basket, scoop layup, and Mike Brown calls a timeout like a minute and 40 seconds into the game. It was from first minute of the game to last minute of the game. We're just going to put Aaron Gordon in the post, and we're going to body DeRozan.
And we could sit there and say, well, if Keegan plays, the Kings win. Cool. What are we supposed to do? Who cares? He didn't play and they lost. It doesn't matter.
All I can say to that is if Keegan plays, maybe Aaron Gordon doesn't outscore the entire Kings team.
I'm not disagreeing with that take. It's just we're at a point now where this is why you don't lose to the Blazers. This is why you don't lose to the Spurs twice, because I can't give you a pat. Everything says I should give the Kings a pass on this game, but I can't do it. And to your point earlier about what the Nuggets did, that's why I had all of those 8 Mile references, because it really wasn't about what the Nuggets did in those last couple minutes. It was about the fact that all of a sudden, that run where I looked at my phone and there was a million different things happening. What was it? 40 seconds, something like that?
Yeah, they scored 21 points in the last 4 minutes of the game. I think it was the 7-point stretch you're talking about was like 40 seconds.
That run right there just destroyed if you're not going to have the championship DNA and the championship pedigree, you have to keep teams at bay, right? You have to go into that minute up multiple possessions. The Kings knew that, and the Nuggets knew that. The Nuggets knew if we can get this thing to a one-possession game with 1 minute, I will take us over the Kings every single time, right? And the Kings knew that. The palms got sweaty before the 1 minute mark, and what did they do? They gave up the lead. And I don't think that's on Coach Mike Brown. I don't.
No, I think the Nuggets executed incredibly down the stretch. And like I said, that group of four, when it was Jokic, I would love to see what the splits were. When it was Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Westbrook together on the floor. We throw Michael Porter Jr. in there, but he kind of didn't really do that much. But you throw that group of four in there together, they just were bodying the Kings and working the Kings inside. Jokic was finding Westbrook on backdoor cuts. Jamal Murray was hitting threes. Gordon was hitting threes. Jokic had played near perfect basketball when it was that group of four together going against the Kings. And everything else, Kings kind of took care of business.
So right here, and because a lot of people were saying Mike Brown should have called a timeout, right? So again, it is Jamal Murray, we're at the 250 mark. It's 122 to 116. That's a 250 mark. Okay. De'Aaron at 238. De'Aaron misses a floating jump shot. At 220, Russell Westbrook makes a layup. So now it's 122 to 118. Maybe you call it there. Maybe. And again, I'm nitpicking. Right after that, 20 more seconds off the clock. At the 2-minute mark, DeMar DeRozan misses a jump shot. And then, if anything, after Aaron Gordon made that absurd three where it's 122 to 121 at 149, maybe you call the timeout there. But again, I'm nitpicking.
But at the same time, they were breaking down the zone defense, and we can talk about
they were just missing shots.
Yeah, that's the bigger part of it. Keon missed an open three. DeRozan missed a
Malik
midi.
missed a wide open three.
Yeah, this might be a bigger conversation than just the last 2 minutes. Is just breaking down the zone defense, but it was just so fascinating. It was so fascinating. The Nuggets went to the zone. The Nuggets playing a perfect fourth quarter, or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. The Kings executing well and somehow still getting outscored by 11 points in the final 4 minutes of the game.
Let's hear from Mike Brown when we return what he had to say about the Kings holding that L when they had no business doing so. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Ad paid for by RFA Cancellation. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number. 800-823-1687. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-823-1687. The call is free. The consultation is free. Call 800-823-1687. That's 800-823-1687. Again, 800-823-1687.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
How's your job to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J. Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, January 18th, the venue at Thunder Valley with DJ C-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Halfway through the first hour, Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We're about to hear from Coach Mike Brown on what in the world happened last night. And again, I know it kind of sounds like a broken record, but this is how he's been sounding lately. Not happy, and he doesn't sound very happy right here. This is his opening statements for his post-game presser. Here it is.
Obviously, a tough loss. They went zone, and I thought we weren't aggressive enough. I thought their zone kind of got us back on our heels, and our level of aggressiveness was not there. Having said that, I thought we had some decent looks. DeMar caught an 8-footer, and he was wide open, and it goes in and out. Foxy got to his floater, and it goes in and out. I think Domas might have missed one too. I probably, if I would have done it all over again, I would have stayed with the same crew. If we got those same looks, if we didn't, I would have definitely thrown Doug in the game at that time or a little sooner. I thought Keon was doing a hell of a job defensively. And that's why we stayed the way we stayed. But at the end of the day, our biggest thing we told these guys is two biggest things. They're the best team in the league in transition, and we did a decent job with that. But just like I talked about us locking into the small details for 48 minutes, the thing that hurt, they scored 76 points in the paint. 76 points in the paint. And this is where our team needs to grow sooner than later. We have to lock in. We have to lock into the details. And we got back cut more times in this one game than probably we got back cut all year. And it's because our guy on the bottom weak side ball watched. And the thing about it is you guys won't see any of that in the stat sheets. You won't see back cut after back cut after back cut. I'm not going to say it 26 times, but you won't see the back cut in the stat sheet. And until our guys understand that it's about embracing the details for 48 minutes, we're going to be a good team, but we're not going to be where we need to go. The back cuts tonight, especially play after play after play after play, were inexcusable. First 3 or 4, okay, maybe. And it wasn't always a back cut for a layup. It was a back cut sometimes for a rebound too. And that's the next level we all have to take, especially our starting 5. Starting with Fox, Malik, DeMar, Keegan. We can't afford to not pay attention to the details, especially when you play a good team. And I somehow, some way, have to do a better job of getting that across to my group. We can't let the Denver Nuggets come in here and score 76 points in the paint when they're not throwing the ball to Jokic 55 times. Give a lot of credit to the Nuggets. They came out, they did what they were supposed to do, and they found a way to get a win.
That they did. The Denver Nuggets came in. They made their points in the paint. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They don't shoot a ton of threes. What? They make 10 threes. Okay, the Kings make 12. So they take 28. The Kings take 35. And the Kings don't take a lot of threes. So they stuck to their game plan. They were able to be dynamic. They were able to be flexible as things changed. They go to that zone, and the Kings act like they've never seen a zone before, and they still got good looks, right? Do they have an offense? Do they have a counterpunch for when they see zone? Mike Brown said he probably wouldn't have changed anything, but you got the L. And as far as the intensity and the attention to details, this is what it is with the Sacramento Kings. They are that friend that in school they get B's and B minuses. They cram when it's finals time, and they still do pretty good. But if they just applied themselves and had that urgency from the first semester, the first quarter, they'd have straight A's. They'd have a 4.0. They'd have a 3.7. The Kings cannot generate their own urgency. And until they can do that, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, well, if they had just done this or done that, if you take away the first quarter, they would have won. Because we have no reason to believe that they would have come with that same intensity. They can't do it. And I don't know if it's a personality thing. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I do not know. But what I do know is that you are not going to beat the elite teams in the West or the East for that matter if you don't come out the gates with some type of urgency. They're not that good. They're not good enough to do that. They're not good enough to do that. And until they understand that, until they realize that, they will continue to lose games. They will continue to lose games that they have no business losing. So Mike Brown talks about the back cuts. Mike Brown talks about the attention to detail. Again, if you close your eyes, you would think he's talking about a high school team. That's what's scary. That it's not about the talent. They just have no discipline. They have zero discipline. He's saying, and I see you on the chat. I see you on the SAC chat. I see you on the text line. I know it's the same thing. Mike Brown knows it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Like Marshawn, that's why he repeated himself. He said he's not going to do it again. I don't know. And it stinks because eventually we will have to have a conversation about the coaching. And Dave alluded to it during Crosstalk, because if it's not about the message, right? And maybe it's about the messenger, even if it's not Mike Brown's quote unquote fault, that doesn't really matter.
Let me ask you this. If Russell Westbrook misses 2 free throws down the stretch,
okay,
instead of Jamal Murray needing to take a 2, he takes a 3, misses it. Kings win by 2. Does Mike Brown sound any different in that post-game locker room, or is the message still the same?
I think the message is the same.
Because the underlying issue was the same regardless of outcome, and I think that's...
No, agreed, but he's even said himself, we have to learn these lessons while we're winning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you put yourself in a position to have the best win of the season. And I know as much as fans are crushed, I'm crushed, I know they're crushed in there.
I don't know if it's the best win of the season, but I will say
it would have been.
They've had some. I mean, they've had
no Keegan, no Herter. You beat the Nuggets in that fashion.
It's this is what I would say. The Beam Team season, they win this game. They won all of these games.
Yeah,
and so it's disheartening to come out of it on the other end and be like, we played well down the stretch. The Nuggets played perfect. We had an 11-point lead and we couldn't, or a 10-point lead and we couldn't hang on to the 10-point lead, which is tough. But the Nuggets also played literally perfect down the stretch. Defensively, they didn't have answers for the Kings. So they went to the 2-3 zone, and the Kings executed well in the 2-3 zone. They just missed a couple shots. The one that was brutal was Sabonis turning the ball over, like right when they had an open guy.
Yeah.
And it led to a transition bucket for the Nuggets. But they executed really well down the stretch on the offensive side. Defensively, they didn't have any answers for that group of four. But in a weird way, it didn't matter because the offense was just executing so well. And so I understood Mike Brown's points. I just think the message would have been the same, win or lose. And that leads more to an underlying issue. And like you said, you have at this point, because the margin for error is gone, because you tricked off games to the Spurs and Portland and all that stuff during the injury stretch. Yeah, you learn those lessons. You have to learn those lessons in wins, because even if they do win all of these close games, they're still stuck in play-in territory at this point.
They're under 500. And it is December 17th.
Yeah.
It is not November. People were trying to get on me. It's still early when it was November, October, whatever. It is December 17th now. December 17th. You are effectively, again, it's not that you're running out of time. It's not that you have plenty of time, but every game you lose, that's the hotter you need to get. You know, Mark Jones, hotter than fish grease? That's how hot you're going to need to get if you keep losing games.
And despite the fact that the offense, since Malik went into the starting lineup, is having its best stretch of the season, I would argue by far.
Yeah.
4-3 coming out of it, which is tough because, you know, you would have expected 4-3 to be the standard before that. And you came on last week during the long stretch without a game and talked about you can go 6-2 during the stretch leading up to New Year's. Then maybe we're having a conversation about, you know, continuity and keeping the roster together. And now that 6-2 needs to be 6-1, and you've got 2 games against the Lakers,
who are not bad. They're not bad.
Well, I guess technically 3 games against the Lakers. They have 2 back-to-back coming up, but 2 games against the Lakers, Pacers, and was it Mavericks later on down the stretch too? So, I mean, this one stinks because they played so well on offense that it stinks that they ended up giving it up at the end, because it was such a great basketball game, and it took a literally perfect final 5 minutes from the Denver Nuggets, literally perfect, to beat the Kings. And it still almost wasn't enough, because if DeMar DeRozan hits that layup at the end, they win the game. So I think if they win the game by 2 or lose the game by 1, the message is probably still the same.
We'll talk about the final 2 minutes and why I don't really care that the Kings came back from down 23. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Ba, 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 ba. Yep, 'tis the season. Hey, if you take pride in your gift giving, here's a great idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so Arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but you know they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift from the Good Feet store. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Most people know that the term birdie in golf refers to a score of 1 under par, but where did the term originate? According to Scottish Golf History website, it comes from the early 20th century American slang term bird, which meant anything excellent. While a 1911 edition of Maclean magazine described a golf shot as bird, straight down the course about 215 yards, the country club in Atlantic City lays claim to the first use of the word birdie. In 1898, A.B. Smith was playing the par 4 second hole when his second shot went within inches of the hole. That was a bird of a shot, he said, and claimed he should get double money if he scored 1 under par. He did indeed hold his putt, and the group thereafter referred to such a score as a birdie. In 1913, acclaimed writer Bernard Darwin wrote in the September issue of Country Life of his visit to America. He explained that it takes a day or two for the English onlooker to understand that a birdie is a hole done in a stroke under par. And now you know. That's Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Fox, right wing. Westbrook, the defender. To DeRozan. Drives. Through. Hand stop. Baseline drive. DeMar DeRozan. Kings lead. 129-128. Malone and the Nuggets call timeout.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. as we discussed why I don't care about the Kings coming back from down 23. And it's not that I don't care, but it's more of I don't really know what we're supposed to do with this. Because everybody can say, well, they came back from this. If they didn't dig a hole, they wouldn't have been as top. Whatever it is. At the end of the day, you could make the argument that the Nuggets didn't execute during that time frame to give up the 23-point lead. So both teams had stints where they did not execute. They simply did not execute, right? The Kings didn't execute early. The Nuggets didn't execute about the middle of the game and to start the fourth quarter. So neither team executed throughout the duration of the game. So they both had an opportunity to win it late. And when it was money time, the Nuggets were able to wipe away the fact that they just gave up a 23-point lead, focus up, and win the basketball game. Because the Nuggets had the worst. They basically, their plus minus, whatever it is, 33 points. They went from being up 23 to being down 10. And they were able to overcome that and win the game. The Kings came back from 23 to go up 10. You take all the momentum, you're at home, and then you blow it. So I don't want to hear it about the Kings having to come back from down 23 because they had all the momentum in the world. They had all the motivation in the world. They need these games, and they couldn't get it done. It's just about execution. Now, a lot of people keep saying don't get hung up on the last play. It is what it is. The Kings never should have been in that situation. And can we live in a world where two things can be true? Right? DeMar DeRozan fumbled the bag on that last possession. I actually paused that freeze thing. I paused that. If you look, are we sure Jokic doesn't at least get there for a hack foul? Are we positive?
You're not wrong.
Are we positive? I mean, obviously you assume DeMar would make at least, one of them, so it would be tie ball game.
I mean, the Kings were shooting 19 of 20 from the foul line. I think he hits both.
Probably. But you watch it again and you pause it right when DeMar gets the ball. It's possible Jokic gets there in time to at least hack him. But regardless of that, you have that play that is what it is. You had an opportunity. You didn't get it done. And we can live in a world where that matters, but also the fact that they never should have been down 23 to begin with, that also matters. Should there have been a change made? And I think Jay Crowder, and I'm trying to remember if Jay Crowder, I believe, came in for Dougie McBuckets. And did they try to put Jay Crowder on Aaron Gordon at one point? I feel like that they switch everything, so it's hard to keep up. But Aaron Gordon was just owning the Kings. DeMar DeRozan, this is what happens this is why we talk about the difference between threes and fours. And why I don't know that DeMar should be guarding fours. It's definitely not Aaron Gordon type of four.
I think in the fourth quarter, it was briefly Isaac Jones who came into the game because Crowder didn't play at all in the fourth quarter, but Isaac played about a minute and a half. Len came in for 2:14, but I think he was just alternating with the Sabonis minutes.
Yeah.
But no Jay Crowder in the fourth quarter. I didn't realize Keon played 10 minutes in the fourth quarter.
So this is interesting. This is from Derek 2 Shifty on the Sack Chat. And he says, I'm tired of the DeMar DeRozan slander / hate. He punched it in the play before. That was major. He made a mistake. Every, in all caps, player on the Kings makes mistakes. Is there something, can we get a list going of untouchable or players that you're just not allowed to talk about? Because every time I talk about DeMar DeRozan, there's a caller, there's a texter. It's to the point where we're on the other side of this. You guys, and I don't know if it's because, wow, DeMar DeRozan chose Sacramento. Give it a rest. When we talk about De'Aaron Fox not playing well, nobody says, hey, don't talk about De'Aaron like that. And he's homegrown. When we talk about Domantas Sabonis and what he needs to do in the playoffs, don't talk about Domantas Sabonis. Why are there certain players that get coddled and certain players that don't? DeMar DeRozan will tell you he bleeped up himself. He will tell you that. When Malik Monk goes on a turnover frenzy, nobody says, hey, don't talk about Malik. Don't talk about Malik. But De'Aaron Fox can get the slander. Why? Because he's the leader. DeMar DeRozan's supposed to be a leader too. So I'm sick and tired of you can't talk about Keegan, you can't talk about DeMar, you can't talk about certain guys, but Kevin Huerter can get it anytime. Kevin Huerter can have 3 good games. He has 1 bad game, ship him out. What is this? I don't need to sit there and caveat every time I talk about DeMar DeRozan and say, hey, but he's a really good player. Because we don't do that with other guys. We don't do that with other guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have come in and said bucket of popcorn on DeRozan at the end, but at the same time, acknowledging that you are right, that this great game DeMar DeRozan had. In fact, he's the focal point of why the Kings had the highest scoring quarter of the season in the second and got back into the game. It then gets overshadowed by 1 for 6 from the field in the fourth quarter. Gets the dunk that obviously ties the game, but misses a midi that would have put him ahead. Fumbles the ball at the end, and
there's no perfect players. No. And I say that bucket of popcorn to everybody.
Sure. It's just
that's if the ball slips out of your hand, I will say you had a bucket of popcorn. That is not a DeMar DeRozan specific thing.
It just sucks that overshadows a great game that DeMar DeRozan had, like a truly great game. That man had elite bucket getting all the way through the game until the fourth quarter, which sucks because
they're clutch players.
But that's the thing is, like, because he has the reputation of being a clutch player, the magnifying glass gets a little stronger when he has a tough stretch down the fourth quarter. And, he talked post game pretty much saying the same thing himself. It's like, yeah, execution stinks, like the looks we got. And I just look at it like any one play could have won or lost the game. Keon missing an open three, Fox missing the only free throw of the game for the team, DeRozan missing the midi,
Malik missing that wide open three,
Malik missing the open three, Domas just putting up the shot instead of feeding it to DeRozan. There's any one thing that could have swung the result, and so I don't try to hone in on the one thing that went wrong. But the whole fourth quarter in totality was tough for DeMar, and that stinks because he played great. He was truly great during that stretch where they were getting back from down 23 points, just bucket after bucket after bucket, and one after and one.
Yeah.
He was playing excellent.
This is a team loss, okay? But every time I talk about a different player, I don't have to sit there and caveat and say, hey, well, before I say this about De'Aaron Fox, real quick, he did do all this good stuff. So I'm not, before I say that, let me make sure that I'm clear there. I don't do that for anybody. So I'm not going to do that for DeMar DeRozan. We all understand what DeMar DeRozan did. You still lost. You still lost the game. That's it. Let's continue the conversation. What happened last night? Is this the toughest loss of the season? The 916 on the text line wants to talk about whether or not this would have been the same game if the coaches were flipped. That Michael Malone, and people are tired of Michael Malone out here in Sacramento. 916-339-1140 if you want your text to be a part of the conversation. Or you know what? 1 hour down, let's open up the phone lines. You want to talk? You agree with what I'm saying? You hate what I'm saying? Whose fault is it? You want to fire somebody? The time is yours after a heartbreak like that. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Wrap Up the Year sales event?
We're giving you a head start on next year with up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow. You guys are always looking forward.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet Family Dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under 20,000.
Now more than ever, Hoblet needs to be your first stop when you need a new or used car. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. $16,000 total net savings on select new Ram 1500 models after $10,500 factory rebates and $5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,500 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital qualify. $500 business upfit, business ownership, and $500 upfit required. And $2,000 Ford Conquest cash. Must own or lease a Ford. No trade-in required. 10th is net savings. $36,325 sample VIN 544-890. See dealer for details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is what makes us different from other law firms. At Gingery, Hammer and Associates, we handle your case from beginning to end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether we need to file suit, or even take it all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to you and your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
There's never been a better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep, because we're still celebrating Black Friday all month long at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And there's a reason people keep coming back, because it's the place where a handshake still means something. Off Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And Merry Christmas from Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., 1 hour down, 3 to go. And we are going to get to some of these texts, some of these calls, as we are reacting to the Kings losing to the Denver Nuggets with a score of 130 to 129. Michael Porter Jr., 11 points. He did have 10 rebounds. He had a double-double, a quiet double-double for Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon, 24 points, 7 rebounds. Nikola Jokic, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists with a triple-double. Jamal Murray, 28 points. And like we said, a lot of those were in the fourth quarter. 6 assists. And you had Russell Westbrook with 18. Russell Westbrook had 18 points.
Oh, yeah. All of them at the rim. And
Russell Westbrook had a double-double, 18 and 10.
Yes.
He almost had a triple-double. 18, 10, and 9.
They almost had a double-triple-double.
Wow.
Like I said, they played so great on offense when it was that group of 4. When it was Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Westbrook. You can throw Porter in there, but honestly, Julian Strother did great too in there. I think Hunter Tyson down the stretch was playing with that unit. When it was that group of 4, they were
all young guys.
Cooking.
All young guys. Julian Strother, we know that they're high on them. They didn't have the Kings didn't have Keegan, and you had Kevin Huerter out as well. Christian Brown, he gets a lot of time, and I know I'm not calling Christian Brown as important as those two guys, but everybody's missing dudes. I don't think they wanted Hunter Tyson playing 17 minutes per se. but that's where they're at. So Hunter Tyson, 17 minutes. He had 7 points. Peyton Watson, 9 points. Julian Strother, like I said, he had 13 points, and he handles the ball a lot. I mean, I think they really like that kid. So that's what the Nuggets did as far as the Kings. DeMar DeRozan, 34 minutes. He had 17 points. Again, as far as plus or minus is concerned, DeMar DeRozan was a 0, right? He literally canceled. He essentially canceled out what happened with Aaron Gordon. That's how I read that. Doug McDermott, 16 points. Shout out to Dougie McBuckets. He was a +6. You had Dougie. He had 1 rebound. And yeah, Dougie's there to score. He's 4-7 from 3-point range. DeMontis. And here's the thing. That's a tough thing about Keegan. I understand that defensively you didn't have him, but scoring-wise, you can make the argument Dougie made up for that. Then you had Keon Ellis, who hadn't been really playing when Kevin Huerter's been playing. Keon had 12 points. You could say Keon made up for that. Domantas Sabonis, 28 points. He's been on a scoring frenzy. 28 points, 14 total rebounds. He had a double-double, 6 assists. Malik Monk, 25 points, 10 assists. He had a double-double. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk was a -6. Domas was a +1. Dougie McBuckets was a +6. And you had De'Aaron Fox with 29 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He was a -13. Jay Crowder didn't even take a shot. He played 5 minutes, no points, had 2 rebounds. Keon Ellis, 32 minutes, 12 points, 6 total rebounds. Great game for Keon. He was a 9 +9 in that category. Colby Jones, very confusing night for Colby. I mean, this is what it is with Colby Jones. He scored 0 points. He was a +6 and plus or minus. He plays his heart out. We know that. 4 rebounds. He's going to D up. But unfortunately, when you're looking at Peyton Watson putting up 9 for the Nuggets and Hunter Tyson putting up 7 for the Nuggets, and they all played 17, 18 points, Colby Jones is just allergic to offense. I mean, he can't score.
I made the note that I thought was kind of clever that Colby Jones, it felt like, was falling on the floor a lot last night, but not in the good way of like you're diving for loose balls and getting scrappy. It just felt like he was falling a lot.
He plays hard, but it's just he's essentially, I mean, and I can't even say a Draymond Green joke anymore because Draymond's been scoring like he did before KD joined the crew, but he's basically a version of Matisse Thybulle. Right. And not as good defensively, but that's what he is. He can't score. So you have him out there for 18 minutes. You better hope the other 4 guys can score, but he plays his butt off. Isaac Jones, 6 minutes. He had 2 points in 6 minutes. And, there were just a couple breakdowns there where Mike Brown, again, going back to the roster, Mike Brown is to the point where does he really want to be playing Isaac Jones and Colby Jones? No, but you have a thin roster already. Then you have injuries. What are you going to do? Jordan McLaughlin did not play. Orlando Robinson did not play. Alex Len got 2 measly minutes. So it's the same thing we've been seeing. Ridiculous production from the starting 5 and really not. I mean, Keon had 12, so I'm not going to sneeze on Keon, but besides that, just it's not enough.
And we said yesterday someone was going to have to score double digits off the bench for the Kings, and obviously
Keon did.
Yeah, and we said that before Keegan was ruled out, so we didn't know at the time whether he was playing or not. But it ended up being Dougie in the starting lineup. He gave you about what Keegan's been giving you this season in terms of points. They got 12 from Keon off the bench, and wouldn't you know it, they were right in it until the very end.
So the bench for the Nuggets scored 29 points. The bench for the Kings, 14 points to 29. And that is what it is. Fans only says Colby has the potential to be a better scorer than Thybulle. What makes you say that?
From what I can tell,
makes you say that?
They both had the same amount of points.
What makes you say that?
Matisse Thybulle got a broken ankle, and he had the same number of points as Colby Jones.
What makes you say that? See, look, and I'm not trying to come at you, Sacramento, but this is what happens. Okay, the Nuggets come into town. Jamal Murray makes that final shot, and you let Javi be the first caller today? Really? You let Javi be the first caller? That's crazy. 916-339-1140. Javi, what's up?
Hey, first thing, please don't associate with me like being Sacramento, letting me be the first call. I got nothing to do with Sacramento.
But Javi, I'm going to stop you there. This is a Sacramento station. So why are you calling?
I know. I'm calling in about the Kings, but I got nothing to do with the city, though, because, you know what I'm saying, they different out here. I'm calling about the Kings team and how I said their bench is the problem. And I said how I told Mr. Draper, we're better than the Nuggets. We lost to a Nuggets team, giving up 21 points in 4 minutes. We were up 8 minutes with 2 minutes to go. But please do not correlate my phone calls to letting me.
Okay, but Javi, that's fine. We're done here because I'm tired, and I've just hung up on him. I'm tired of you calling my show, talking about stuff you said with Draper. Here's a crazy idea, Javi. Why don't you call the afternoon show with Draper? Stop calling my show, and I've given you a long leash. Stop calling my show. You say don't associate with Sacramento. This is a Sacramento Kings station. You want to talk about Draper. I'm not Kyle Draper. We're just both black. Stop calling my show on that BS. We're done. Call Draper's show. Enough.
Can we finally block him?
Enough, Javi. Enough. I don't understand the correlation. You call in talking about stuff that I never talked to you about. And when I say Sacramento, y'all let Javi be the first caller. You want to say don't associate you with Sacramento? Then don't call, Javi. Don't. Okay? Jamal Murray won. We wanted to have some fun, and you blew it. You blew it. We're done. We're done. Okay? Enough. Enough is enough with that, man. Enough. All right. We continue the conversation with Jamal Murray and what the Kings did and what they didn't do. And as we were getting to it before Javi did call in to say absolutely nothing, the Kings did have an opportunity. And Jamal Murray, he did ball out. You know, that's the problem. So I understand that there's a play that's called for De'Aaron. Okay, we get all that. And the play was called not for De'Aaron, but you're going to go tic-tac-toe, and the play would have at least worked enough for DeMar DeRozan to get fouled. But there is a level of when you're talking about a supermax that I'm curious, is anybody else going to be okay with this, where I'm about to go on the other side as far as De'Aaron Fox is concerned? Should we go full on 90s, coach, give me the rock, it's my house, I want to end this? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
I love spreading joy with gifts this time of year, but I try not to spread my budget too thin. Luckily, Kohl's has come through for me once again. I just went and used the 25% off coupon to score so many great gifts under $20, like cozy pajamas and fleece, amazing gift sets, and beauty must-haves. So if you're looking to give more for less this season, get to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store at Kohl's.com for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Oh, man. Text line is text line and the Sac Chat having some fun with that one. I didn't know what else to say, man. And look, I've been doing this show for a while now, and it just got to a point where it's, what are we talking about?
Got to put our foot down at some point.
What are we talking about? 916 says, tell us how you really feel, Alan. That's from Larry. Matthew says, Stiles is cooking with that fish grease right now. I honestly, y'all, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know. We like to keep things fun, and I was having some fun with it. Didn't want to have fun. We're not doing the beef. We're not doing any of that. We're here to talk about the Sacramento Kings, and we're here to talk about Sacramento, dang it. Okay? So if you're going to say something crazy like that, you don't associate me with blah, blah, blah. What else am I supposed to say? Just let you rock? That's disrespectful.
Thank you.
That is disrespectful to the city of trees. I know. I wish. And here's the thing. Don't think because I'm a newer show, you would have played something like that, because you wouldn't have said nothing like that to Jay. You said that. You say that to Jay, and maybe that's why he keeps calling. Maybe Jay won't answer his calls.
I'm also just nice.
That's also true.
I'm very nice.
All right. Let's get back on track here. Was this the toughest loss of the season for the Sacramento Kings? I would say my initial thought is yes. I don't see how it isn't, simply because of how they lost. Now, if you go through all the losses that the Kings have had, and there have been a couple, I mean, obviously there are bad losses, but specifically toughest loss, right? Because it's the way they lost. It's having hope. You go out, you get blown out by the Spurs. That loss was just bad. You know, you lose to the Raptors. The Raptors loss was pretty tough, but it was Vince Carter's retirement, a jersey retirement. Wasn't Drake there? Or there was the Drake drama. DeMar DeRozan, they had an opportunity to win. I'm looking here at all of their losses, Kyle, and I'm trying to see if there's one that sticks out as tougher. I would say that Minnesota loss was tough to start the season, but yeah, I would say both those two Minnesota losses. Mm-hmm. The Minnesota loss to start the season, but it was the first game of the season. Then you had the De'Aaron Fox 60-point game. That was a really tough loss as well, but you were missing people. You were missing some guys. I would say I think it's between De'Aaron Fox. I'm just looking here because other losses are just bad. It's between the De'Aaron Fox 60 game loss or this one. I think that's it.
So I guess this might just be a philosophical thing about what you define as a tough loss. Because in my mind, say the Kings go 41-41 on the season. I'm not saying they will. I'm just picking a record. If you have to lose 41 games, I would rather lose 41 games this exact way than any other. Like, that game was thoroughly entertaining, high scoring, drama down to the end, near perfect basketball, defensive switches at the end, one-on-one matchups. Like, that game had it all. It was, I talk on podcasts and such that I've done over the years about like 5-star sporting events, which is like, you get stakes, storylines, drama, action, entertainment. And if you get all those things, those are 5-star sporting events. And this wasn't quite 5 stars, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, this game was the most entertaining basketball game of the season. And I think you just get bonus points for that. And I guess in that sense, I don't look at it as a quote unquote tough loss, because I would rather play games like that where you score 129 points.
You don't look at this as a tough loss?
But again, we're just doing philosophical debate back and forth about what we define as a tough loss. But I understand the Kings in the locker room afterwards are feeling like, damn, we had that one in our grasp and we didn't win it. I just look at it like that was an amazing basketball game. It sucks that they lost, but that doesn't take away from just how excellent and entertaining the basketball game was.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and like I said, it's probably that Minnesota game because you had De'Aaron dropping 60. But I would still say this one simply because there was so much hope. You're up 10, so it's not very typical that you come back from being down and then after coming back from being down, you go up 10 and you have an opportunity to blow it yourself. Normally, you get up maybe 2-3 and you got a glimpse at it, or you get really close and there's just not enough in the tank. They had completely obliterated their situation. They had like I said, that's a 33-point swing essentially. So for that to happen and the way it happened and it being at home, I don't know. And they're 6-8 at home, by the way.
I guess I look at that and say they blew a 10-point lead, and that really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nuggets went from down 10, scored 21 points in 4 minutes, went 7 of 7 from the field. Like, I look at that and say they literally played a perfect final 4 minutes. And I can live with losing to perfection. Now, you could argue the Kings defense played a factor in the Nuggets' perfect final 4 minutes of the game. But at the same time, like, some of those shots were easy, but some of them were like Jokic hitting a shot in his face, Jamal Murray hitting that shot with 8 seconds left in the game, them getting a deflection on Sabonis right as he's about to find someone for a bucket.
No, I'm telling you. When is the last time you saw Aaron Gordon take a non-corner three in transition? When he made that shot, that's when I thought, all right, this might be a problem. And he made that shot with there was enough time for the Kings, and that game didn't necessarily, or that shot didn't necessarily fully change the trajectory of the game, but it did say, okay, the Nuggets are not scared, right? That was with 1 minute 49 seconds left. It was 121 to 122. When he made that shot, he had no business taking that shot. It was pretty early in the shot clock. That's when I said, this is a problem. This is a problem. Okay? So at the end of the day, to me, this is the worst. This is the toughest loss of the season. This is, I wouldn't say it's not the worst because you lost to some bad teams, but it is the toughest. It is the most heartbreaking, specifically because I don't even know who stole one from who. I don't even know. You had an opportunity to steal. This was stolen multiple times.
But aren't those the best kinds of games?
It is, Kyle, but I'm saying I don't know. And here's the thing. It's funny because there are people. So we shouted out Derek on the Sack Chat earlier. He says, if DeRozan hits that shot, we're all ecstatic right now saying it's the best game of the year. He also said, hot take, this is the best game the Kings played all year. They matched physicality, played as a team, showed heart. They fell short, but you could see the fire, just my opinion. Now let's go to the sack. Now let's go to the text line. What the hell is this guy on the radio talking about? I think they're talking about you, Kyle.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That game was an F bleeping nightmare. Heartbreaking loss. I don't give a S bleep how exciting it was. It was a brutal, heartbreaking loss. Nobody enjoyed that. Well, Derek enjoyed it. Kyle enjoyed that. There are some people who enjoyed it.
Dwayne Baker said he loved it on the Sack Chat.
I didn't enjoy it. But again,
this is
my blood pressure also did not enjoy it. If my blood pressure is going to get raised, you better walk away with the W. Now I got to drink more beet juice and eat more bananas, and the Kings still lost.
Oh, beet juice. That's gross.
Now I got to watch my sodium intake even more, and the Kings lost.
Okay, so I'm not going to bag on you for putting that much emotional investment in it. Just like I'm not even going to bag on the guy on the text line who says that. It's just a different way to fan. And
we don't police fanning here.
Exactly. It's just a different way to fan. I would rather the Kings lose every game that way than lose by 20 points against the Celtics on the road.
Oh, well, sure.
Or lose by 5 points against Cleveland.
But I'm not arguing. Yeah. But I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing whether what type of losses. I'm just what type of losses are better or worse. I'm just talking about whether or not this is the toughest loss this season.
Yeah.
I think everybody would agree with you on that. It's just did you leave that game happy? Not happy is not the right word, but did you leave that game thinking, man, that was a tough loss, no beam, but damn, that was a good game. And I don't think a lot of people feel like that right now.
I'll give you my reaction walking out of the game. And again, I'm different because I work in radio and cover the team, so I have a different feeling coming out. I had a smile on my face walking out of the arena. They lost, but I was just so entertained. Sure, in my heart, I'm like, damn, it would have been cool to see the beam and they win and all that stuff. But, man, that was just an amazing basketball game. And for me, not for you, not for Guy on the text line.
530.
For me, I enjoyed that game. And the loss doesn't take away that much, a little bit, but not that much from the fact that it was a thoroughly entertaining game with drama and stakes, and it was so good, and I very much enjoyed it. So I guess, it's just whatever we view
and
tough loss as.
You're not alone. You are not alone. There are people that agree with you. There are people that clearly don't agree with you. All right, let's continue the conversation. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation and you rep Sacramento to some degree. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the Kings' loss last night. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand clutch makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Every rose has its thorn. Get ready for Rotten legend Bret Michaels, bringing his unforgettable show to the Nugget Casino Resort in Reno on December 28th. Experience all the hits, all the energy with the iconic voice of Bret Michaels. And here's the ultimate rock star bonus, a chance to win a signed guitar from Bret himself, exclusively at the show. Don't miss your chance to rock out and create memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. December 28th, Bret Michaels at the Nugget Reno, where rock and roll dreams come true.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Ba, 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 ba. Yep, 'tis the season. Hey, if you take pride in your gift giving, here's a great idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so Arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but you know they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift from the Good Feet store. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
Feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder. Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
I'm Craig Ashton with the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. It may sound contradictory for a personal injury firm to wish you a safe holiday season, but we at Ashton & Price wish that no one has to suffer an injury in an automobile collision. But if you're an accident injury victim, you can lean on Ashton & Price to do all the legal legwork and introduce you to the best medical care providers in the area. So during this holiday season, you can focus on your health and your family. So from all of us at Ashton & Price, we advise you to have the happiest and safest of holidays.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
We are halfway through the second hour of the show. It's almost lunchtime, or it is lunchtime for you. Hope you enjoy it. Holiday parties are starting. I love a good holiday party. I really do.
Our work one is tomorrow, right?
That's right. I'm going to be, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to miss part of it.
We're going to miss a lot of it. But hey, you have to, you got to do what you got to do, and somebody will save me a plate. I know they're good for it. As we know, the Kings are good for exciting games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will result in W's as they lose to the Nuggets. Look, at some point, we're going to look forward here for the Kings, but it was a tough loss. We're all reeling from it. It has been quite the show so far. We have people arguing about DeRozan and their plus or minus. We have some fans that enjoyed the game and can compartmentalize, some fans that really can't, or it's tougher for them to. I know last night I did not. The clock hit 0, and the first thing I thought wasn't, man, what an exciting game. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't exciting. It was really exciting, but that is not what I felt. I felt like the Kings should have won that game, and they didn't, and it's a loss in the win-loss category. The Kings take on the Lakers on Thursday, and LeBron, we'll spend some time tomorrow talking about the LeBron situation and his leave of absence, where he just kind of disappeared and then reappeared. So we'll spend some time on that, but continuing to break down what the heck happened in Golden 1 last night, and whether or not, this is really started to turn into a conversation of whether or not you enjoyed the game or not, but we're still talking X's and O's and everything that happened last night, and whether you should feel good about the Kings' effort or whether an E for effort isn't good enough. You need W's. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Ramiz. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Ramiz? What you got for us?
This is Ramiz calling from Sacktown to Mactown, 916, baby.
Let's
all
go.
Day, every day.
Let's go.
But anyways, I know you guys were talking about, this game last night. It kind of irritated me because Keegan Murray was off for 4 days, and he didn't even play last night because he had a sore ankle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really bothered me. I think that's why I'm going to say we didn't lose the game because of that, because of the defense. But, man, they just don't make them like they used to, man. But I just hope he just comes back. But I think the most difficult game, the hardest game that we lost, the toughest game, was De'Aaron Fox's 60-point game against Minnesota. The worst game of the year was going to Portland a couple weeks ago and getting crushed out there. Man, if we play like this, like physicality, we're going to win a lot of games. But when we play physical, I've seen games where we play physical, and these refs, they call these ticky-tack fouls. But they let us play like we against Denver last night. I think we can probably get a 6th seed. Is this like this year, man? I have so many expectations for this team. Another tough loss was the 1-point loss against Atlanta and Sacramento. This game like that, man, we should be like 4 games over 500. But man, we just got to keep playing like this, playing physical, keep running the offense through Sabonis, because my thing is this: we do got to make another trade. We got to go get a wing, and man, I really want Cam Johnson from the Nets real bad, man, really bad. I just think he would just put a whole nother, thing on this offense. But I really appreciate your calls, man. I mean, your guys are talking about this subject. I'm a big Kings fan. Been diehard since '97, since I moved out here, and just keep representing Sacktown, man. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Ramiz. Great stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day. Well, I think Ramiz did hit on a good point, and that point would be that, hey, if the Kings can play like this moving forward, they should be okay. You got to close games, but we know the Nuggets are the Nuggets. I'll also say this. Outside of that, really, and I think Ramiz said that Portland game was the worst, and you're probably right, Ramiz. Most games, it's funny. There's always going to be a Portland game. It feels like the Kings lose. They don't play the Clippers very well, and didn't they lose to the Clippers even without Zubac? So the Clippers kind of have the Kings number. They'll win some games, but you're never really sure. For the most part, though, the Kings have been competitive. I think that's what we've kind of noticed. There haven't been. So when Ramiz said if they keep playing like this, they should be okay, they kind of have been playing like this, right? The Grizzlies game I would call pretty similar. De'Aaron didn't play as well as he did last night, but it was a similar game, and they lost. So there haven't been a ton of stinkers. They have been playing like this. They just haven't been able to finish the deal.
I think to add on to that, since they got the core players back, right? So after DeRozan came back from injury, after Sabonis came back from injury, after Malik came back from the ankle, since they got the core players back, they haven't been blown out in any games yet.
Right.
Like the Portland game, they lost by double digits. They've not had a game where they've gotten blown out of the water. They've gotten down double digits, but they've never had a game where they just get blown out of the water by any opponent.
I'm looking here, and it does, honestly, I don't know that that's true, because I think they were still missing DeRozan. Looks like the first game they got DeRozan back might have been I'm trying to see if they had DeRozan for Brooklyn. I think that Brooklyn game may have been the first game they got him back. And that Brooklyn game honestly doesn't matter, because that Brooklyn game wasn't a blowout.
Yeah.
So that Brooklyn game wasn't a blowout.
I'll give you the example, the OKC game right after that, where OKC just crushed them after that. DeRozan was back, but they didn't have Malik yet.
Okay, good call. So they didn't have Malik. That Minnesota game, that's where everything started.
Or I'm sorry, wait, this was that game that Malik played, but I think he kind of played but didn't play because Keon was still starting.
Sure, we can still count it as a blowout. So that Oklahoma City game, that was a stinker, right? We're just counting stinkers. That was a stinker. Minnesota, they win. Portland, you shouldn't have lost, but is it a stinker because they shouldn't have lost? Because they didn't get blown out. They did lose by 9. I think you got to count it as a stinker.
It was also garbage time is the reason they lost by 9. They were down 15 most of that game.
Right. So there have been basically 2 stinkers within the last 10 games, because that Spurs game was a good game. Houston, they win. Memphis, close game. They go on that winning streak, and then they play Denver tough. So since November 27th, about 10 games here where they have shown up, they just haven't been able to get it done. 916 says, the loss last night was, in all caps, the toughest loss of the season. So many broken hearts at Golden One Center. Was it entertaining? Sure. Other than the unwatchable first quarter, the rest of the game was super enjoyable until the final 4 minutes, when my heart got ripped out of my chest. Yeah.
I get it, but I can tip my hat to a team that plays a perfect 4 minutes of basketball to beat you. I can tip my hat to that.
916-339-1140. Let's get to TC. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Allen, what's up, man?
Man, I'm just out here policing people. What you got, TC?
Hey, you ill. Listen, that was a heartbreaker last night, man. But you know what? You know what I love, though? I love to see that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I know we got down, and to see that fight and it come down and go up 10 and then come back, we just had to – it was a lack of focus. What Mike Brown be talking about, bro, is real. This ain't got nothing to do with Mike, man. This is Monty. The team, the lack of focus is, Monty, we're tired of you hearing talking about these moves, bro. If you go make a move, bro, make a move so we can keep going, right?
Right.
So at this point, I'm like, You know what? Let Danny Ainge feel like he fleeced us. Go get John Collins for 5 second-round picks. Who cares about the second-round picks? Oh, they fleeced Sacramento. Bro, it's 5 second-round picks. Did y'all give up a first? No, we gave up 5 seconds for John Collins, bro. Period, point blank, and Kevin Huerter. That's it, dog. Make a move. If we gonna go get Cam Johnson or Dorian Smith, bro, go do it. Let's make the move and go on. Otherwise, Monty, you're out of here, bro. This isn't on Mike. Mike is preaching what he's preaching to the team. The team got a ball. But this is it's bigger than that, Allen. This is the front office. They're tired of Monty doing this whole pump faking thing. Like, hey, I'm going to make a move. Oh, no, I'm not. Monty, bust a move, bro, and keep going. You busted the move of Halliburton for Sabonis. Solid. Make that same move, bro. Stop pump faking. People are tired of you pump faking, bro. Make a move, dog. That's all I got.
Thanks for the call, TC. Great stuff as always. I don't know. The question is for that whether Danny Ainge would even want 5 second rounders, right? And you've seen some guy. Look, we'll talk about the Nuggets, and they found some winners in the second round. I understand that. Hey, you have to make a move. You have to give up something. But the first question is whether Danny Ainge would want Kevin Huerter and a bunch of second rounders. And for John Collins, I think you'd have to add somebody else for the money. And then the second question is, are 3 first rounders worth the first? How is that viewed? It all depends on the team and the organization and the execs and the GMs. But the bottom line is that the Kings probably need to make some sort of move. And that's really what is going to take us into the number to the 12 o'clock hour.
Not to dump on TC's point because it is a good one, but the Kings don't have 5 second round picks. Mm-hmm. They have already given away a lot of them, partially to move off of contracts. They gave up one to trade for Chris Duarte. They just do not have that many second round picks. They have their 2026 pick, their 2027 second, their 2029 second, and their 2032 second. So they only have 4. They cannot trade 5 second round picks because they only have 4.
Well, they got to do something. And the sooner the better, because with every game, you're slipping farther away from staying out of that play. And at best. All right, let's get to some of those second rounders and some of the guys that showed up for the Nuggets last night that you may have not heard of prior to last night. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
It's the year-end event right now at Folsom Lake Kia with huge year-end savings, low finance rates, and zero down deals with approved credit. Come see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Metro!
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Had some calls, have had some fun lately as the Kings unable to get it done against the Denver Nuggets. And it wasn't all about the stars, as we discussed, 29 bench points for the Nuggets to the Kings 14. And, you know, I saw a really big difference between benches, Kyle. And I had to look up these guys because I didn't know a ton about them. As you take a look at some of the dudes that are playing for the Nuggets, really the Nuggets bench, right? They were missing Christian Brown. They were missing some guys, so they had to fill in the blanks here. And they do it with 3 really young dudes and 1 really old dude in DeAndre Jordan. And look, maybe they've gone too young to the point where, like we said yesterday, Michael Malone didn't necessarily want to move off of KCP. But you look at these guys, it's kind of insane. And again, the 29 points, they got that from everybody but DeAndre Jordan, who is the vet. And I didn't even remember DeAndre Jordan was in the league.
DeAndre Jordan tried to wham one on Sabonis, though.
He tried to turn back the clock, but that's 29 points. And you look here to TC's point about the second rounders. I'm looking at who they're playing. They played 4 guys off the bench, Kyle. All of them were drafted in 2022 or later. Peyton Watson, the 30th pick in 2022. He was traded to Denver. Julian Strother, the 29th pick in 2023 for the Nuggets. And Hunter Tyson, the 37th pick in 2023. And he made his way over to Denver. These are all really young dudes. And I'm not saying all of them are going to be dudes. I have no clue. And Christian Braun, what did he go in 2022?
No, he's the same draft class as who's the first guy you just
Peyton
said?
Watson,
yeah.
So 2 2022s and 2 2023s, and that's your bench. Now, I don't know if the Nuggets are going to win the whole thing, but I know that they have a bunch of guys under the age of 25, 24 getting legitimate playing time. And they had some, and when I was going through yesterday, looking at some of the guys that they missed on, they have not hit on every draft pick. They haven't. And I don't even know if these guys will be hits, but they're putting up points in important NBA games right now. 7 points for Hunter Tyson, who I'd never heard of before last night. Peyton Watson, 9 points. Julian Strother, 13 points.
Yeah, and I talked about this yesterday. Ever since Tim Connolly left Denver to go to Minnesota, which was after the 2022 season, so the year before they won the championship. So all of these players have been drafted by Calvin Booth and the new regime in Denver. Mm-hmm. And they have said from the very beginning that we believe in our ability to identify and develop talent. That is their great competitive advantage. It's going to be their ability to draft and develop talent. And they've committed to it because, 1, they don't like paying the luxury tax.
Yeah.
And 2, they've put their money where their mouth is because these guys are getting significant minutes. If Christian Braun had been playing last night, I know it's Brown. I call him Braun because that's how his name is spelled. If Christian Braun had started last night, it would have been Westbrook, Strother, Watson, Tyson, and probably DeAndre Jordan coming off the bench.
Right.
Would you say that bench unit right now is stronger than the Sacramento Kings bench unit?
I wouldn't want to, but I feel like I'd have to.
And that's the power of the draft, right? Is 4 guys, I mean, Christian Braun obviously starting, but 4 guys drafted in the last 2 years. By year 3, they're impactful role players who are also on cheap contracts. And Christian Braun was the only one of the group that was instrumental in them actually winning the championship. Like, he was getting run during the finals run. But then you subtract Bruce Brown, you subtract KCP, you fill in with those guys, and you have the ability to still compete around Jokic in his prime while not essentially paying 3 max contracts between him, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., who makes $200 million. You're able to still compete with players who are young and very cheap.
Yeah, and a lot of people really liked what they saw from Deron Holmes. before he got injured, and that's who they picked up this past draft. I'm looking here. You get Christian Braun, like you said, in 2022, and you pick up some guys, and then you go over to the Kings. And I know I'm not trying to, just bring up old stuff, but Olivier Maxence Prosper, right? Where are they now?
Yeah, he was dumped as soon as they traded him just to move off of Rashawn Holmes' contract.
Jordan, this is in 2023. Jordan Walsh, all right, he went up to Boston. Jalen Slauson, his time has ended. In 2022, Keegan Murray and Jaden Hardy went off to the Mavericks. Then obviously 2021 with Davion Mitchell and Neemias Queta, couldn't get Neemias Queta time, and he's played some legit minutes for the Celtics. So this type of stuff, Matt, I couldn't believe the Nuggets bench last night. I really couldn't.
Yeah, and it's interesting that I don't think the Nuggets are right now championship contenders, but Nikola Jokic still, to this day, has never had in his entire career an all-star teammate, an all-NBA teammate, an all-defensive team teammate, and yet they've won a championship and continue to be contenders every single year. And you could argue that's a testament to just how special of a player Jokic is. You could argue that maybe they should have packaged some of those draft picks to make an upgrade in terms of a star player.
Yeah.
Maybe that player hasn't come along. But the fact that they're still competitive, and last year probably should have gone to the finals if they don't blow a 20-point lead at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, that team being able to continuously compete while not having an all-star teammate and continuously replenishing through the draft is remarkable, even if you look at Braun, Strother, Watson, Hunter Tyson, and say none of them are, like future $100 million players that they identified late in the draft.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Brandon. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Brandon? What you got for us?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
So here's the key to being a Kings fan this year. It's never too high, never too low, because if you keep riding the roller coaster, they're going to give you health problems. and I got a lot of points to make, but I'll make it real quick. First of all, I want to give kudos to Sabonis because that man played his heart out last night. I mean, I think he pretty much got Jokic to submit towards the end. He was just having his way. I kind of wish he would have put that ball up to the end and they would have drew the play up for him, just because I felt like he was just dominating the whole night. And the second thing is, I think we got to stop using the words clutch when it comes to Fox and DeRozan. I mean, I know they've done it in the past, but I think there's 11 games within 5 points this year, and the Kings only won 3 of them. And I've just seen too many duds out of DeRozan at the end of the game. I'm not hating on his whole performance. He had a great game, but, maybe we start looking at getting Sabonis some looks at the end, because to me, he's clutch. Every game he comes out, he does what he's got to do. So I'm loving that. And the last thing I wanted to point out is we're going to have more games where Keegan Murray is going to be hurt or other people. So I do agree. We do got to bolster up the team a little bit. One person I was kind of really thinking about, but I'm not sure how this works. I know we got that pick protection with Atlanta right now. Can we release the protection on that pick and maybe even have to give up like a first-round pick, but get someone like DeAndre Hunter, where you get like a lot of length, some defense, the guy could score too, because I think we're missing something just like that to help us get us over the edge, at least into the playoffs. So anyways, great show, guys. On to the next one, right?
Thanks for the call, Brandon. Yeah, and I have to check in on that.
To answer his question, yes, you can remove the pick protections. There was talk around the draft this year that the Kings were just going to, knowing that they had the 13 pick, were just going to release the protections to Atlanta if they had a trade for a superstar available, but they ended up just drafting anyways. But yes, to answer his question, you can go back to Atlanta and negotiate different releases on the pick protection.
So yeah, that is a lot of what is going to be discussed here. And moving forward, what is Monty going to be able to wheel and deal to make it happen? Monty is in an interesting spot, and we kind of touched on it. I think it was last week about the whole luxury tax thing, but I do believe there is a little bit of him needing to work within the luxury tax. I don't know that he got the green light to use a black card. I don't know. I don't know that he has, and we'll know if they do. But again, based on what you can take back, I like Cam Johnson, but is Cam Johnson worth breaking out the black card if he takes you into the luxury tax? I don't think so. I don't think so. If there is a deal out there to where you're getting two guys and you're really changing this roster and changing that core rotation, then I would have that conversation. So we don't know what Monty is or isn't allowed to do and what he is going to be able to what he's going to be able to figure out in the coming weeks, because they're not alone. We've been over it. There's the Lakers. The Warriors apparently aren't done. There are a lot of teams that are interested in trying to get better. Then there are the teams like the Pistons who we don't know what they're going to do. They're kind of playing better than they thought. They might try to skip the line and mess around and get into a play-in. Their fans deserve it. So there are going to be a lot of sellers out there. We know there are going to be a certain amount of sellers. We don't know how many buyers are going to be. And if there are more buyers than we think that are legit, if you walk into a house and you want to rent the house, you want to buy the house, and then 4 other people come in to try to buy the house, that price tag just went up. Now, speaking of the price tag going up, there are reports that there are some price tags going down. So could right now be an opportunity for the Kings to get somebody at a little bit of a discount. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader. Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, layouts on the line, golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 16s. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and a scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, They do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Ready for winter? Forecasters are already predicting record sick days. Don't become a healthcare statistic. Fight sickness with fitness. Create a daily workout and stick to it. Let the Good Feet store help you meet your workout goals. With Good Feet Arch Supports, the pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back become history. And Good Feet Arch Supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Visit goodfeet.com for an appointment or just stop in. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
From the 916, we have hit the 12 o'clock hour. 916. So if we fire Brown, do we still pay Brown? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it works.
You do. And I believe the Kings had recently moved away from paying. They had finally got off the books and they're currently only on the books with one coach.
Yes, because they were firing coaches every 2.5 years.
So they're probably, and that's another thing, a coach here, and here's the thing, an owner that doesn't really want to go into the luxury tax, right? Does it feel like that owner wants to pay a bunch of coaches that for them to be on vacation?
All I'm going to say is Mike Brown earned a contract extension for a reason, guys.
No. But I'm just saying this thing has gone a little sideways. But again, we're talking about an owner that we're not sure if he wants to go into the luxury tax. So my guess is an owner that doesn't really want to go into the luxury tax probably doesn't want to pay a coach to sit on the couch while they pay for another coach.
Yeah,
especially when they haven't even spent any of that money yet.
And when the contract extension hasn't even started yet. But to answer the text line's question, yes, in all non-Ime Udoka situations, yes, you have to pay the coach if you fire them.
So there you go. That's where it's at as far as what would happen there. Again, we don't think that that's going to happen, but I do think something is going to happen. I think most people agree that something is going to happen if you don't start winning games, and that's why this whole moral victory thing at this point just doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't really make a difference to at least me right now. The 916 is saying, if I've learned anything since being a Kings fan since 1998, it's whatever your win total expectation is going into the season, in your heart of hearts, subtract 8 to 10 games. Why, you ask? One word: Kangs. That is from the 916.
Yeah.
So what were they set at? I think 46.5. So I thought that they would get to 50, to be completely honest. So now they're at 42.
I guess what they're on pace for right now, 40.
Wow.
Just like the text line said.
Subtract the 8 to 10. I can't stand that you're right, text line. I can't stand that. But there is one way to get back on the right side of things, and that's by making a move. And again, there was a lineup yesterday, and I'm watching, and I believe it was De'Aaron Fox, Keon Ellis. I think it might have been Colby Jones. It wasn't Domantas Sabonis. It might have been DeMar. It wasn't DeMar. It was a crazy lineup. It was an insane. I think it must have been Isaac Jones. And Mike Brown will fire up lineups like that, and you're sitting there thinking, this team, that's supposed to beat the Nuggets? Now, they had opportunities, sure, but this team is supposed to beat the Nuggets? Then you have other situations where you look at the starters and how well the starters are playing, and you think, yeah, they are supposed to beat the Nuggets. You know, Kyle, you'll appreciate this comparison. I was thinking about this, and the Chargers it seems like they finally got it right. They went very classic, and we think that this makes sense.
This is how they get you. They make you think that it's normal. This is how they get you.
Sure. But what this season reminds me of is that season with Justin Herbert and Anthony Lynn, where they lost a record. It was literally the Chargers are going to Charger, and I think the Raiders got a couple wins off them that season, where the Chargers were in every game was a close game, but something just bizarre, ridiculous would happen, and the Chargers would end up losing that game. And they ended up moving off of Anthony Lynn, who, bounced around a little bit after that. And even though Anthony Lynn probably had to take some of that responsibility, it did feel like there were things happening that was just a bit unlucky. And that's what I feel like is happening with Mike Brown a little bit, where you might just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it says nothing about who you are as a coach, but who else are you going to blame? You look at some of these numbers for the Kings, and their net rating is this, and their offensive rating is that, and defensively, they're actually not that bad. They're middle of the pack. That's what we were supposed to draw up. Now, you thought that the Kings would be top 5 offensively, or you hope that, but your top 10 offensive rating, your top 15 defensive rating, you're thinking, hey, that's pretty darn good, and you're struggling to stay above 500. Who else are you going to point to? I know there have been injuries, but I'm not saying it's fair. I believe it's not very fair, but that's just the way of the world. It kind of reminded me of that Anthony Lynn season with the Chargers.
Yeah, I get that. I guess history has kind of reflected that Anthony Lynn maybe isn't the greatest coach in the NFL, considering he then went to Detroit and got fired as the offensive coordinator, and they immediately became the studs once Ben Johnson got there. So maybe there were underlying issues there as well beyond just the losing the one-score games, so we got to do something here.
Right.
But I do think the point is true, right? When you're the team that loses a lot of one-score games, people go back to the adage of, the Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are, instead of looking at all the successes that they've had while also losing one-score games, which I would argue is basically a coin toss. Like last night's game was essentially a coin toss, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about coin tosses is that if you do it enough, it'll average out to 50-50. But I could flip a coin 10 times and it'll end up 8 on tails and 2 on heads. And that's kind of the Kings this year, is they've been in games that are considered clutch at the end, where it's a 5-point game in the final 5 minutes, and they're 2-8. So that's just bad luck, I would argue. And that's why stats like the net ratings and the expected win-loss records and VORPs and all sorts of annoying stats that people will hate me for saying, those are sometimes useful in determining who's actually the best teams and who aren't, in terms of like the actual on-paper production. Because if you play enough games, they will theoretically get back to that average, right? If the Kings play enough one-score coin toss games, they should eventually get to 50-50. But that hasn't been the case this year, and it's especially disheartening when you think about the reputation going into the season is their identity is going to be clutch. Fox, DeRozan, Monk, they're going to be able to pull away from teams down the stretch, and that hasn't happened. Their identity actually has kind of been they're a really, really good third quarter team this year. Coming out of the halftime locker room, they've been excellent in third quarters, but they haven't been that same team in fourth quarters like we expected. They're still top 8 in the league in fourth quarter scoring, but it's not what their identity is drawn from, and they're 2-8 in close games.
Yeah, and Dwayne Baker on the Sack Chat is saying the Kings are the anti-Chiefs. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
There was another year where the Falcons, I want to say the year that Todd Gurley was on the Falcons. Remember when he scored a touchdown by accident and then they lost on a Hail Mary after that? Like the Falcons had another one like that where they just found a way to lose wacky games at the end. But this is what the flip side of that is When you lose the games, everyone says that's the record that you are what your record says you are, whatever. But when teams win a lot of those games, the Vikings with Kirk Cousins, this year's Kansas City Chiefs, everyone's quick to point out how fraudulent the wins are, but not how unlucky the losses are. It's kind of an interesting paradigm. So it sucks to be on the losing end of those coin flip games, but when you win it, everyone acknowledges, oh, you're just winning these crazy fluky games.
Well, the other thing, and that's the thing, right? You could make the argument, even though I used the Anthony Lynn comparison, there were probably more fluky, coin flippy situations that Charger season than there have been with the Kings, if we're being completely honest. I mean, if we go through the losses right now, and 916 is saying, as Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record says you are. A record of 12-13 says not very good. You look through, and that Minnesota game, I guess we could say the first game of the season with the Keegan double pump 3. Okay, the Laker game, we'll give the Lakers that game. That Toronto game with the Drizzy Drake, that's 2. You have the Minnesota game where De'Aaron dropped 60. They lost by 4, but they did have a chance to win, I believe. And that's when Keon didn't take the shot. It was either it must have been to win. I think it was to win. They wouldn't have went to overtime.
Yeah.
So I could count that one. Let's see all those. Then you have all the
Dyson Daniels strip.
The Dyson Daniels strip. That's 4, even though they were shorthanded.
Is that 4 or 5?
That's 4. I count 4. So that's 4 kind of coin flippy type games.
Do you want to also count the second game of the season where LeBron went berserk in the fourth quarter?
No, I didn't count that one because they were on the road. It's LeBron. The San Antonio 127-125 game, I'll count that. They lost by 2 there. And then you have Denver. So I count 6. 6 out of their 13 losses. That's half their losses.
Have been by 1 score, basically.
Yeah.
And even that Laker game, they only lost by 4. The Clipper game where they were at home, they lost, but they had literally the worst 3-point shooting game in the history of the franchise, and they still were in it at the end of the game.
But you know what? This reminds me of? So I know it came out in 2020. I just finished watching. I kept seeing, and I never finished it because I didn't have HBO at the time. But me and my wife, we just finished The Outsider on HBO. Great show, only 1 season, but a great show. A lot of people have seen it, and it's great stuff. Now, in The Outsider, something is happening that is a bit supernatural, and a detective doesn't want to believe it because I live in reality. I'm a cop. I need facts. I need DNA. I need evidence. And eventually he sees that, hey, this is not something that I initially believed in, but it's true. So with the Kings, you could be a fan that's kind of like that cop. There's facts. There's evidence. The bottom line is you're not winning. You're losing. Doesn't matter that they had the worst shooting. But maybe there is just something of I'm not going Stephen A. and the Cowboys here, a black cat running around the organization, but when you're losing games and you continue to lose games in heartbreaking ways, you can say, hey, things are going to turn around and our luck is due to flip. Or you can say, I have to react based on the facts. And the facts of the matter is that you are losing games that I don't think you should be losing. So because of that, I am the owner. I am whoever I am in charge of the Kings. I need to change something because I can't wait. Or the saying goes, you make your own luck. And you can't wait for things to turn around.
It's a difference in philosophy, just like we were having the conversation about tough wins or toughest loss of the season and all that stuff. It's just a difference in philosophy of how you analyze what you're watching.
That's it.
Both can be right. Both can be wrong. It's just a difference in philosophy.
Let's talk about what's coming up next. The Sittery segment. Evan Sittery is dropping some heat on his social media about some players who have dropped in value. Who should the Kings go after? And a fan favorite is finally being talked about. as being available. We'll tell you who it is on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho, 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 ho.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Here's DeRozan coming back. Draws another foul and scores. Another three-point opportunity for Debo.
Home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We have a little less than 2 hours left with you as we break down the heartbreak from last night against the Denver Nuggets and the Kings. At the end of the day, you need to get better. And what better way to get better by upgrading your roster? So it is time for the Sittery segment where we go over everything that Evan Sittery is dropping on his social media, and we discuss who you would want on the Sacramento Kings. So I have 3 guys here. There are 2 guys that have been talked about pretty often, and one guy that hasn't been talked about, but a lot of people have always said they would want on their team. So let's start with the first guy. This is Kyle Kuzma. The Wizards are believed to have lowered their asking price in trade talks on Kyle Kuzma. Washington held out for 2 first-round picks last year. Dumb. But the belief is, I added dumb, but the belief is it might only take 1 pick and a prospect. The Heat, Kings, and Lakers are among teams showing interest in Kuzma. There we go again. So instead of 2 first-rounders, you got to make the money work. So off the top of my head, you could do the Kevin Huerter thing, a pick and a prospect. Now I wonder, a prospect, is that Devin Carter prospect, or is that Colby Jones prospect, or is that Keon Ellis prospect? Those are 3 completely different types of prospects within the Kings organization. I would assume that the Wizards are going to tell you, yeah, a pick and a Keon Ellis or a pick and a Devin Carter. That would be my guess. And then you still have to make that money work. So I don't know how many people would go against, and Kyle is locked in the trade dungeon. I don't know how many people would go against, I guess, a first rounder and Devin Carter for Kyle Kuzma, but then you still have to make that money work. You got something already, Kyle?
Yeah, I all the trades work financially because the Kings would be sending out more money than they'd be receiving, because the package is Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and the prospect, whichever prospect you pick. The money works no matter who it is. The Wizards would be taking on more money than the Kings in those situations, so they could trade whoever they want. It's just a matter of, do the Wizards value Devin Carter as a first-round pick, or do they value him more as like a project?
Well, that's the clarity that I think I'm looking for. If they're saying they've lowered their price to one pick and a prospect, is that in addition to making the money work?
Well, so let's take this at face value. Evans says in the tweet that their previous asking price was 2 first-round picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So unless the injury means Devin Carter's value has gone down, last I checked, Devin Carter was a first-round pick, and
right,
a pretty high first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So Devin Carter and a first-round pick is the same asking price the Wizards were talking about before.
But you still have to make the money work.
Yeah, but the money for the Kings, the money is easy. It's just Huerter and Lyles.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Huerter, Lyles, Devin Carter, and a first-round pick feels like a lot.
Yeah, and the Kings would be actually saving money by making that trade because there would be more going out than they're taking on with Kyle Kuzma. The difference is Devin Carter makes, and it's just because of the draft pick, it doesn't mean that much. Devin Carter makes like $2.5 million more than Colby and Keon Ellis. So again, it doesn't matter unless you wanted to take Lyles out of the trade theoretically, but I think the Kings would go into the tax. They'd have to give up somebody. So either they keep Lyles and cut one of the deep bench guys, or they trade Lyles and you can trade whoever you want because the money is fine at that point.
Yeah, let's continue on here. I'm saving the best for last. The next name on the list where the price tag is being dropped, like I said, 2 guys we have heard about a lot. And then I have a surprise at the end. The second name, Dorian Finney-Smith. The Cavaliers, Grizzlies, Kings, and Lakers is from Evan Sittery. The Cavaliers, Grizzlies, Kings, and Lakers are among the contending teams showing trade interest in Dorian Finney-Smith. After shopping Finney-Smith last year, the Nets have lowered their asking price. Smith is shooting a career-high 44.8% on threes this season. I can't get over how well the Nets are playing this. Not that they're playing it well, but all of their guys that they're looking to move off of are balling.
Yeah.
They just got Dennis Schroeder out of there. He was having a career year. Cam Johnson's having a career year. Dorian Finney-Smith shooting 44.8% from 3. And you couldn't draw it up any better.
And by trading those players, they can still end up with pretty good lottery odds.
Yeah, so that's another name. His asking price has dropped. Evan doesn't say specifically who or what it's going to cost. I would assume Kyle Kuzma is more expensive than Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yes, he is. Dorian Finney-Smith is only $14 million per year.
So that's a straight up and a pick.
Oh, if they trade, they don't have to give up Huerter to get Dorian Finney-Smith. Now they would have to attach picks, obviously, more to make it happen, assuming that the Nets have some value for Kevin Huerter. But for Dorian Finney-Smith, no, they don't have to. They could just, well, I guess I'll check the machine real quick, but they don't have to trade Kevin Huerter.
But if they could, that could be the straight up deal as well. Now, obviously, the Nets would want something else for their future. So Kyle is going to cook that up. And last but not least, the name that I haven't really seen thrown around a lot, but is now being thrown around from Evan Sittery. Once again, the Sittery segment. The Bucks have gauged the trade market on Bobby Portis to find rotational upgrades. With Milwaukee over the second apron, they can't take back salaries totaling more than Portis's $12.6 million. Portis is averaging 13.1 and 7.7 rebounds while shooting 36.7% on threes. The Bucks are really going to have it. I mean, you're looking at them, I think, trying to get younger, because if you're looking for rotational pieces and you're in the second apron, so you can't go over 12.6. Again, Kevin Huerter makes what, 16, 17 mil. So you can't do that. You can't even give them, let's say you wanted to give them Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles for Bobby Portis. You couldn't do it. You could not do it. So I think what it feels like to me, we're going to get back to Bobby in a second. What it feels like to me is they're going to try to go younger because those are the cheaper contracts. What do you have, Kyle?
For Bobby, so yeah, they simply cannot trade Kevin Huerter. It's just
they can't do it. But I thought you had Dorian Finney-Smith.
Oh, for Finney-Smith, yeah, they can trade Huerter, they can trade Lyles. They only have to trade one of those two, either Huerter or Lyles, to make it happen. If they do Lyles and Colby, that works. Lyles and whoever else yeah, you can trade. You could trade Lyles and Crowder. You can do whatever you want. You only have to trade one of them. To get Kuzma, you'd have to trade both of them. To get Lyles, you'd only have to give up one. Or to get Dorian Finney-Smith, you only have to give up one of them. Which honestly, I think is probably the route the Kings go.
Yeah.
Is just trade Lyles, or maybe just ask Jordy which one he wants.
Right.
Maybe just check in with Jordy and see if he just wants the expiring contract and picks, or does he want to try and turn Herter into a reclamation project?
I think you're going to go Trey Lyles there, which I think, no disrespect, works out for everyone, because I don't know that the Kings want to ship off Kevin Herter if they don't have to. They would like Kevin Herter to continue to do what he's been doing if he can stay healthy, and then you add Dorian Finney-Smith. I think that is what they would want to do if they had a choice.
Yes, I think so, but you only have to do one of them. For Bobby, he's $12.5 million, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's going to be Lyles as salary filler, plus
Devin.
insert young player.
Yeah, Devin, Keon, somebody.
If it's Devin, this is the interesting twist. If it's Devin, it's like $100,000 over, but between Lyles and Devin combined. So they would have to take on a deep bench guy from the Bucks.
Right.
They'd call it DeLon Wright or someone who's just not playing minutes for the Bucks, but is $2 million just to make it work.
But this is why the Bucks are in a really tough spot, because I believe you're trying to win now, right? You want pieces that are going to help you now. You're basically trying to get a 2-for-1 deal with a guy who has too good of a contract in Bobby Portis. You taking Devin Carter, you have no clue if that's going to help you right now. You have zero clue.
And here's the other part of it. The Kings don't have the best Bobby Portis offer. You could say draft picks maybe is the great equalizer, but if Bobby Portis was on the open market, I can name you 8 teams off the top of my head that have a better trade package than.
And why is that, Kyle? Because it comes down to draft picks.
Draft picks and young players.
That's what I mean. Excuse me. I mean young players, because look here. Last night, Kyle, guys that put up points. They didn't ball out, but put up points. Listen to this, Kyle. Julian Strother's making 2.5. Peyton Watson's making 2.4. Hunter Tyson's making 1.8. I'm not saying that the Nuggets want to give all of that up. No, we don't care about the Nuggets. Don't bother. But I'm saying they could. I'm saying look at what the Nuggets can do, and that's just one random example because they drafted guys that are at the NBA level.
Think about it this way. If the Lakers were willing to put Rui Hachimura up for trade to get Bobby Portis, the Kings are immediately out of the conversation.
Right.
Because they do not have the players or willingness to match that trade. So that's the tough part about Bobby Portis, I would say, is that I can tell you for sure, out of just the teams that are theoretical buyers, I could think of 8 of them off the top of my head that would have a better trade package than the Kings just because of the player that they're going to be sending back to Milwaukee.
It was a tough night for the Joneses, both of them. Let's have that conversation and whether or not the Kings can turn that bench around and get back on the winning side of things. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For your Tuesday, we will see some breaks of sun. Highs today in the upper 50s with a light north breeze, and overnight lows drop back to the 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, don't miss year-end savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Hurry in for low payments and zero-down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The holidays can be tough for some, especially if things from your past are still following you around to this day. Now, don't be afraid of your past this upcoming holiday season, as an expungement can help. And that's where the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez comes in, as he's local and has a great track record. Now that expungement can help you get a job, get your life back in order, and you'll also get your constitutional rights back. He's offering discounts on expungements now through Christmas. Call 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187.
At Makita, good enough is never enough.
It's not just about the power and runtime of the tool. It's about the power and runtime of the pro. We obsess over fit, finish, and feel. Every detail, from coatings to contours, all to create tools that won't hold you back, so you can build more and never settle. If it's not right, don't put your name on it. Makita, available at the Home Depot.
Bell Brothers presents our end-of-year warehouse clearance with our lowest prices of the year. Everything in our inventory must go. Save big on new furnaces, water heaters, AC units, and more. Plus, receive an instant rebate of up to $2,000 on select furnace and AC systems, and a free standard water heater with installation, and 0 payments, 0 interest financing. Call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234, or go online to thenosurpriseguys.com. These deals will not last long. If you have been putting off getting a new heating and cooling system or replacing your old water heater, now is the time to take action. It's Bell Brothers end-of-year warehouse clearance. Our in-home estimates and second opinions are always free. Right now is the best time to save up to $2,000 on select heating and cooling systems. Plus, receive a free standard water heater with installation. Plus, 0 payments, 0 interest financing. Get all the details at thenosurpriseguys.com. Financing based on approved credit.
No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
Merry Christmas from Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and we're still celebrating Black Friday all month long. When buying a car, getting a good deal, it's kind of the easy part. Where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really sets themselves apart from anywhere else is the experience, from sales to service and everything in between. It's why so many people keep coming back to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's because it's the place where a handshake still means something. And if you've been wanting to experience that Jeep life, there's no better time than now. SacSuperstore.com, located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course.
Ahead is Sabonis, right back to Fox down the left side of the lane. Feeds it out to Monk. Wide open. Feed set. 3 on the way. Short. Keon Ellis. Rebound. Second chance for Sacramento. To Fox. Pulls up at the elbow. Doesn't shoot it. To Sabonis. 7 on the possession. Monk to the paint. Out to Domas. He's going for 3. He's got the triple. The reaction from Kings fans, dramatic and emphatic.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
There was a shot towards the end of the game, and Domantas Sabonis, I'll say this, and I'm not saying that anybody doesn't want to win or wants to win more than anybody else, but there is no doubt in my mind how much Domantas Sabonis wants to win. When he gives that fist pump when De'Aaron Fox, whoever it is, he always does a classic fist pump late in a game. You know how bad Domantas Sabonis wants to win. And I have the utmost respect for him as a basketball player and what he did against, I mean, Jokic still had a triple-double. He's Jokic, but he always goes toe-to-toe. He goes toe-to-toe, and he did his job last night as best he could. And you put up 28 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists against arguably the best player in the league. He did his part. And I've seen it before when Sabonis, you know, he gets that fist, he's given fist pumps. He wants to win bad. Everybody is always worried about De'Aaron Fox wanting to leave, and, you know, he could walk, and obviously the contracts are different. But if there's a guy who I think is tired of losing, if I have to pick a guy out of the, and I think Malik as well, but, and I'm not saying anybody wants to win more than anybody else, but I'm just saying visibly, Domantas Sabonis, let's not forget when the Kings almost lost to the Pistons last season. They did, but the game that they almost lost to the Pistons, Domantas Sabonis yelling and screaming, giving Tarzan jungle calls to try to ignite his team. I'll put it to you like this. When it's talking about rolling out of bed and the team being lackadaisical, that is not because of Domantas Sabonis. That guy is always ready. The other guys, De'Aaron Fox had a terrible first quarter. Terrible. Atrocious. Some of the other guys, they need to step up. Now, you make up for it, sure. And you came back and you took the lead, and we get all that, but you lost. You lost the game. 530, lighten the mood a bit, says, just tried the hot honey rub wings. Good, but not as hot as I thought they'd be. I still need to. Maybe this wing Wednesday.
Look at that. You're now a food influencer.
That's right.
Thanks to Isaac Jones.
Just like all the people that I met at Sky River. We're all foodies, food influencers. The 916 says, guys, I don't think everything is all good or bad. I think we're close. It all comes down to talent. We don't have enough talent. That's why we can't separate from teams. I'm not afraid to trade a star because we all know how much value you can get back in players and picks. We need more than one guy, and Monty doesn't have the greatest war chest. That is from Jeff. Jeff is not panicking. But you just said, Jeff, you move off of a star, you're kind of starting over. What are you getting back? What are you getting back that's going to put you in a better position right now?
There's no stars that are available either.
That's what we said.
That's
what we did that for an hour yesterday.
Yeah.
Go check it out on YouTube or the Sacktown Sports app. You know, the disgruntled stars, unfortunately, there are none right now, unless you want Jimmy Butler, and I don't want Jimmy Butler.
What's the point of getting Jimmy Butler when you have DeMar DeRozan?
Jimmy Butler balled out last night. I think he had 35 points, something like that, 4 steals. I don't want him. He's the only person, and Giannis is – let's see what happens. By the way, NBA Cup tonight. Can't wait to watch.
Oh, really? That's tonight?
That's tonight. That's not good.
No idea.
That's not good.
It's the Thunder and the Bucks, though, right?
That's right.
Okay, I was gonna be crazy if I got that wrong, but yeah, it's the Thunder and the Bucks.
Yeah, the Azalea on the Sack Chat says DeRozan for Butler. Look, I don't necessarily think that the Heat would be against it because you get DeRozan's, you get a version of Butler's production at half the price. But I don't. You talk about the luxury tax. Jimmy Butler shoots you straight into the luxury tax.
6 years ago, DeMar DeRozan was the second player traded in a deal that led to Toronto winning a championship. Mm-hmm. I don't think Miami's going to look at that and be like, sure, let's do that again.
Yeah.
The guy who took us to the finals for DeMar DeRozan. Look how great it worked out the last time. We're definitely going to do that again 6 years later.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. But the Kings do need to do something. Look, the bench, it was a rough night for the Joneses. Colby Jones, 18 minutes, 0 points, 4 rebounds. Now, look, Colby Jones is never going to be a stat sheet guy, right? You're never going to be able to look in the scorebook. I've always said he reminds me of that junior on varsity, or maybe he even gets pulled up as a sophomore, and you watch him play, and you're not really sure why he's on varsity as a sophomore, but he plays really hard. He does all the right things. Doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but his talent doesn't jump off the screen or the court. That's Colby Jones. Isaac Jones had a rough night. And Kyle, you were in the building. You said you noticed Mike Brown. It was a bit visible that Mike Brown was frustrated with Isaac Jones.
Not frustrated, just that he was doing a lot of coaching. So Isaac had a foul early on in the game, and Mike is calling Isaac over, and Isaac does the thing where he runs down the court from the spot where he's getting ready for the free throws, and he runs down the court, and Mike is kind of giving him direction after the play, and then he was only in for 5 minutes, but then immediately right after that, I remember it vividly. It was 50-32, and Fox had the ball working at the top of the key, and he drives into the paint, and Isaac comes down from the pick and roll position and runs to the wrong spot and basically collides with Fox and forces a turnover. and then it leads to a Jamal Murray bucket, and Mike calls a timeout. And again, it's like Isaac's right there. He's talking to Isaac right as it happens, showing him something. And then after that, Isaac didn't go back into the game for a long time. But it was just like a couple of moments where I just noticed Mike specifically, not necessarily, assistant coaches will do that as they go along, but it was Mike specifically being like, Isaac, let's work through what just happened there.
Yeah.
On that play, we're going to work through it, and now you're going to go to the bench, and we're going to go on a run with, I think the lineup was, we were joking about it earlier. It was Doug, it was Keon, Monk, DeRozan, and Sabonis was kind of when they went on that run in the the second quarter, but yeah, just a tough game for Isaac. It's not, nothing to look at and be like some grand indictment, but like, yeah, definitely a couple mess ups for Isaac Jones in his short run last night.
It's funny. I was literally just about to say out loud, hey, you look at Mike having to coach an undrafted rookie who is a two-way guy in legit minutes, and Mike's probably thinking, I did not think I was going to have to do this. I did not think this is what I was signing up for. But as I'm saying that, on the other side, like we just talked about, you have Michael Malone, and once you get to their bench, you got Hunter Tyson, who was drafted in the whole bench besides DeAndre Jordan was drafted in 2022 or 2023. So you have, again, not totally the same, but two benches that are pretty young that these coaches are having to navigate, that we know that Michael Malone did not necessarily want to be in this situation.
Well, and Michael Malone is opting to play those guys over, for example, Zeke Naji, who is another Nugget pick, but he just signed like a $32 million extension or something like that. He signed a 4-year extension, and they're opting to play the young guys over Zeke Naji at this point. And the Kings are kind of making that call too, right? They're playing Isaac now at the 4. They're playing Colby. McLaughlin hasn't gotten run in a while. We saw some of Jay Crowder last night, but Jay Crowder hadn't been playing in the last 4 or 5 games. Doug hadn't been playing in a few games. Obviously, he got the start last night, but in past games, that's what they'd been opting for. We played that quote from Mike yesterday on the show about how they replicate the bench production, and he went so far as to say by committee and talked about Colby Jones and all that stuff. And yeah, for the two young guys, it's just a really rough game. Just a rough game. And it didn't end up having a bearing on the result. It's kind of why we're talking about it as our 10th topic of the game, was just like, yeah, man, it was a tough game. Tough game for Isaac. Just a couple of not even rookie mistakes, just kind of dumb mistakes. Colby, I said earlier, was falling on the floor a lot, and not in a good way. It felt like he was sliding on the floor a lot. Just a tough game for those guys. And it doesn't mean to not play them more minutes or anything like that.
Well, you don't have a choice.
And I think it's still beneficial to again, if you have to allocate those, 24 minutes. Yesterday I said 20. If you have to allocate those 24 minutes, would you rather allocate them to Jay Crowder and Jordan McLaughlin, or Colby Jones and Isaac Jones, and let them work through some of those? Yes, they didn't win, but it's only 20 minutes, and you have to play those players. You have to find 20 minutes somewhere on the bench. Might as well have Colby and Isaac work through some of that.
Let's get to the rest of the bench. Do we now have more questions about the bench after last night? And there are some people that want to find a way to upgrade the bench. How do you do it? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, the Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Wrap Up the Year sales event?
Wrap up our biggest savings of the year with up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram Heavy Duties. Plus, with over 400 new Rams available, including the hard-to-find Heavy Duties, your perfect truck is waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
That is a huge selection of Rams. Probably why Hoblet is the #1 Ram dealer in California.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter. with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under 20,000.
Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobleDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. 17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 tradesmans after 10,500 factory rebates and 6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 Hoblet inventory coupons while supplies last, 2,000 trade-in assistance on qualifying trades, 500 upfit, 2,000 California commercial business bonus cash. Business ownership and 500 upfit required. 5% net savings. Sample VIN 357313. See dealer for details.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Get huge year-end savings on the all-new 2025 Silverado now at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on select new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Special financing lease in some of their offices.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Dylan Scott, Country Till I Die Tour.
That's my girl.
Platinum selling artist Dylan Scott. With special guests Jackson Dean and Avery Anna.
You just can't have mine. Thank God she loves me. God knows I got so lucky.
Friday, January 10th, 7 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. You know, I want to say, I feel like for the most part, I had no clue what I was walking into today. And, you know, there were definitely some situations throughout the show where people are upset, not necessarily about the game per se, but just about a lot of different situations going on with the Kings. But I do feel like the Sacramento, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not, feels like Kings fans in total took this win pretty well. And I don't know if that's a good thing because that means that they kind of saw it coming. Can I be honest here? What was the point? If there was one, I said mine was the Aaron Gordon 3. When Aaron Gordon made that 3 for you or for the Nuggets, that's when I felt like this is going to be a problem. 916-339-1140. Kings are up 10. You're probably not believing what you're watching. I know I wasn't really believing what I was watching. And I know that might even sound disrespectful, but I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. It was just impressive. And then I think we all, including the Kings, collectively said, oh, wait, are we about to pull this off? And it all went downhill from there. What was the moment, Kyle? Did you have a moment last night where you thought, okay, Kings, they might blow this?
There wasn't a moment exactly like that, but okay, so I'm tracking the game. I'm at the arena. I've got my notes app, and I'm taking notes along the way for a rundown and stuff. This is just kind of a behind the Wizard of Oz curtain right now. So I'm taking notes as I'm going along, and I know that Jokic is 0 for 5 from 3. And so when I want to say the score at that point is 127, 125, and there's 30 seconds left. When I see the ball get out to Jokic on the top of the key, and I see him getting ready to fire, and Sabonis has him covered. This was the second to last possession. So this was right before the DeRozan dunk. When he's getting set to fire, I'm like, this is the one that's going to go in, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hasn't hit a single shot all game, but this is the one that's going to go in. And wouldn't you know it, bottom of the net. So that's the closest to, it's not quite you with Aaron Gordon, but as I saw Jokic teeing up the 3, I'm like, this is the one that's going to go in, isn't it?
Yeah. The 916 is saying, same idea from Rancho Mice. The 7-0 run was watching recorded, knew it was over, fast forward, and sure enough, that's from Rancho Mice. 916 says, my moment was that third dumb foul with like 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Now, 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they still, I mean, that was before they even took that. That was before they even took the lead. So 11 minutes left in the fourth. Look, there was a Dougie McBucket. So I think what they're talking about, there was a Doug McDermott personal foul. There was an Alex Len personal foul. So funny enough, at that time, they were up 7. So they were up 7 with 11 minutes left. And 916 is saying, I knew this was probably going to go south.
That 916 might have had 4 or 5 of those moments in their head where like something went wrong. Like there was one point where Fox is driving to the rack and he gets stripped and it looks like he got fouled. And then Jamal Murray has it and he like guards him at the baseline, and then Fox gets called for a bump on Jamal Murray. And that's another one of those where it's like, all right, I guess it's going to happen again.
Well, to me, there was, and I'm trying to find it now, in the third quarter, it was one of those crazy possessions because, again, it was a fun game. Unfortunately, the Kings couldn't get it done. But when the Kings were trying to make the comeback, there were a couple moments where they had earlier opportunities, and Malik, there was a specific key, and help me remember when this was, Kyle. They got on a fast break, and Keon tried to pass it to Sabonis. Keon probably could have taken that shot. He passes it to Sabonis, and Sabonis wasn't really – I think he got the shot off, but he missed. I think they were still trying to come back at that time, and I'm thinking, Keon, just shoot the floater because I think it was Jokic. Jokic would have had to come at you, and Sabonis probably gets that rebound anyway. It wasn't a terrible basketball play, but it was more about Keon, just take the shot there. That was before they even took the lead, but there were a ton of opportunities for the Kings.
I think I remember because there was a sequence where it was like the Kings are on a fast break, and now the Nuggets are on a fast break, but nobody scored. And then eventually I think Westbrook got a layup or something after like 3 back and forths of one's on a fast break. Now the other's on a fast break. Now they're in transition. Now the other team's in transition. And it was like, God, if one of those had gone in, it's a 4-point swing, and it didn't work out. There was one where I think it was Peyton Watson intercepted a cross-court pass that had a spray 3. There were a couple of those that were funky like that, where you just thought, man, that was a moment there. When they broke down the zone defense and DeRozan missed the midi at the end of the game, that was another one that was like, damn, that's just awful luck right there.
Yeah, as far as the bench is concerned, Herder was out, Trey Lyles was out, and Keegan couldn't play. So their rotations weren't exactly what they had been. I guess you could say, I don't feel better about the bench, but yeah, there is a part of me that wants to believe if those guys play, and even if Christian Brown plays for the Nuggets, I think the Kings win, but the Kings still have plenty of bench issues because one guy goes down, I guess Trey Lyles as well, but based on what they had been doing, Kevin Herter goes down, and now the bench is atrocious. Compare that to the Nuggets. They don't have Christian Brown. They move Russell Westbrook to the starting lineup, so they're missing a guy as well, and you still get 29 points from guys that we've really never heard of, right? From really young guys that we don't recognize as household names. So that's why the bench, to me, yeah, this still highlights that the bench is a problem because the Nuggets were missing guys from their bench too, and their bench still put up almost 30 points.
Yeah, and it's weird because there wasn't Keegan and Herter playing, right? Mm-hmm. So only one of them changes the starting lineup, right? They have to put Doug in there, but Herter was already coming off the bench at that point. I guess I expected that they would get outscored on the bench, and we talked about it yesterday when we were doing our game preview. Someone on the bench is going to have to give the Kings double digits.
Yeah.
I said in my dog segment that I thought it was going to be Colby Jones, and that did not work out the way that I hoped it would go.
That dog is ugly!
And so now I look at it like Keon gave you the 12, and they still got outscored by 15 points off the bench.
Yeah. So 530 is saying, could we sign players out of the league at this point to improve our bench? Isn't that what they already did?
They already did 3 of those.
They got enough.
How many more can we do?
Clearly, that is not necessarily working.
Well, they haven't tried Juan Toscano-Anderson yet, so let's.
And I love JTA, but we've seen that. Is it time to revisit the Jay Crowder thing, or should we have never expected that much out of Jay Crowder?
I genuinely don't know what to do with Jay Crowder. Like, I wish I could give some analysis on what the rotation. I still want the rotation of Herter, Isaac Jones, Keon, Colby, with occasional Alex Len mixed in based on necessity, or Orlando Robinson. I mean, it seems like Alex Len is in favor now with Mike Brown again, but I just want that group of 9 to 10. Like, and then when Trey Lyles comes back, put Trey Lyles in and move one of them out. I think that would, if they just had that continuity, that's what I would like. And it looked like they were headed in that direction.
Right.
But then the injuries happened.
Well, and let's not forget, Jay Crowder got signed because Trey Lyles went down, right? It was never necessarily supposed to be Jay Crowder getting time while Trey Lyles was in the mix. Maybe it was supposed to look like this while having Trey Lyles.
The one thing I would add is if you had told me, because we got off the air after Keegan was announced as being out. He was questionable when we came off, so we thought he was maybe going to play. If you had told me Keegan's going to be out, Jay Crowder's going to be starting, that I would have understood because Jay Crowder would have been guarding Aaron Gordon.
Right.
I think it worked out with Doug McDermott in the starting lineup, but if you had told me Jay Crowder was going to start, I would have been like, I understand.
Yeah. 530 says, at the end when Jamal Murray pushed off Fox and sent him flying, should have been a foul call instead of 2 for Jamal. All I know is that was a terrible look. I mean, you go slip and slide. It's not even summertime. I don't know what to do with that. Maybe it was a push off. They just, and De'Aaron, motioned to the ref that it was a push off. You just never know when you're going to get those calls. And of course that happens in money time. Just can't happen. Can't happen. Continuing the conversation. One more hour with you. How did the Kings get back on track? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for usage is 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max used for adults only.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. The winter months bring joy, but also with more rain and snow, unfortunately, more accidents. Over the last quarter century, thousands of Northern California residents have looked to Ashton and Price to be their root op with a law license to guide them through the storm of an injury claim. As always, we wish you and your family the safest and happiest of holidays. But if you need us, at Ashton & Price, we're here for you. So whether you've been naughty or nice, happiest holidays from Ashton & Price.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Seasons change, but if you hope to stay healthy, your body needs to stay active year-round, whether that's in the gym or on the trail or at work. And that's where the Good Feet store can help. Good Feet's personalized arch support system supports all 4 arches, relieving pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back. And Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Visit goodfeet.com for an appointment or stop in for a free fitting. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
The holidays are always a great time to get together with family and friends, but nothing beats the thrill of Stockton Honda's deals. During Happy Honda Days, find the perfect ride in person or online. With over 400 new Hondas ready to go, now is the time to buy at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's Old Report.
Every rose has its thorn.
Get ready for rock legend Bret Michaels, bringing his unforgettable show to the Nugget Casino Resort in Reno on December 28th. Experience all the hits, all the energy with the iconic voice of Bret Michaels. And here's the ultimate rock star bonus, a chance to win a signed guitar from Bret himself, exclusively at the show. Don't miss your chance to rock out and create memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. December 28th, Bret Michaels at the Nugget Reno, where rock and roll dreams come true.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
One more hour with ya. So a couple of things happening around the NBA. The NBA Cup final is tonight. I mean, I'm going to watch. You got to watch, right? All eyes on the NBA Cup.
I don't know. I just might read a book tonight, kind of chill, you know.
Only game tonight. That is, of course, on purpose, and I do think it'll help a little bit. You got Giannis, you got SGA. These are two of the guys. Look, people, LeBron and Steph, they are going to retire. And the NBA is going to have to find a way to market these new guys. And I think Giannis is pretty marketable. I don't know how, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how marketable SGA is because Steph was, I think, more relatable. He had some funny videos, and even from a size standpoint, he's not this specimen. I mean, he's 6'3", but he's not this specimen like a LeBron James. A LeBron James is just a good story. And the thing about LeBron, you either loved him or hated him. He had the Michael Jordan thing. I look at some of these new guys, Giannis. I think he's marketable, sure, but he's not. It's just, what are we doing with Giannis, right? Is he going to go down as a great? He'll go to the Hall of Fame, but I think what it is, and I'm going to speak for myself because I'm a millennial. I don't even know if I'm a later millennial. I think I'm right in the middle of millennials at 34.
1984 is the start of millennials.
Yeah, so I'm a real mid-millennial.
You are firmly a millennial.
Yes.
Just like I am firmly Gen Z.
Yes. So I think millennials, and even before us, it was, I like this star because we're talking about best ever, right? So Michael Jordan comes out and he's Michael Jordan, and it did take him some years, but there was a lot of hype behind him. Could he be best ever? And the league was in a different place. Then you had Kobe Bryant. Could he be best ever? I watch him because of what he does. He could be best ever. LeBron James, I watch him because he could be best ever. Steph Curry, I watch him because he could be the best shooter. He is the best shooter ever. And now he might challenge LeBron James if he ends up getting one more to surpass LeBron. These are the stars that millennials grew up with. And there was a lot of, what's the point of watching this? We're watching this to see if this person can achieve the ultimate level of greatness. As far as these new stars are concerned, because there just weren't as many stars back then either. So now you have almost so many stars. It's, all right, Giannis is cool, and he's got a great nickname, and he's funny because he jokes about American stuff that he's not used to, like Oreos and things like that, and he has funny innuendo jokes, but Giannis isn't going to be the best ever. He's not going to be the best ever. So why am I watching? SGA, kind of more new age basketball from that school of James Harden. Let's get to the free throw line. He's too cool for school. He's a fashion type guy. And again, maybe the SGA thing works more than the Giannis thing, because the SGA thing, that's for the Kyle Ledbetters, for the Gen Zers, for the younger kids. The SGA, I'm too cool for school. The Giannis thing is, Giannis doesn't really fit anywhere, right? Millennials, I'm not watching because you're not going to be the best ever. You are a freak and you do jump out of the gym, but I'm not watching because your legacy is kind of whatever to me. And the younger guys, I don't know how relatable Giannis is to younger fans.
Giannis is, have I ever talked about my basketball generations with you at all, about how they only last like every 5 years?
No.
Okay. Anyways, Giannis is kind of on the back end of his marketability. Is that not true at this point? Like,
probably
the prime window to market Giannis has already happened. And by the way, he did a pretty good job.
I think he did. Yeah, I think all things considered, I think it was a pretty good job.
Yeah, he got a Disney movie out of it, a Nike shoe contract, and people think of him as a fun-loving, happy guy who won a championship and cried. And you know, if people want to dive deeper into it, incredible story. Just truly, truly incredible story. If you don't want the Disney movie version of it, there's a great book on Giannis that is very good. Miriam Vader wrote it. But anyways, this is kind of the new generation of guys that are kind of emerging right now. Your Fox, your SGA, your Luka, I would say Zion before the injuries, your Ja Morants. That generation is kind of entering its prime right now. And so I think that's where it's important to market those guys, because I would argue once you reach that level of basketball excellence, the marketing will take care of itself, right? With Jokic, he just reached a certain point of basketball excellence that it's like, you don't have to worry about marketing him. He's the best player in the league and will garner that respect. So I think for those players that are kind of in that, like, were 23, 24, 25, and will one day become the MVPs, but we don't know who's going to become the MVPs. Now's the time to market those. Like Tatum. Jason Tatum is never going to win an MVP. He will never be the best player in the NBA. And yet Jason Tatum has been marketed so well that he is perceived as a superstar in terms of, basketball players you think of off the top of your head.
Yeah, and look, maybe Tatum gets one. Maybe it's down the line. Maybe Jaylen Brown wants to be a number one at some point. That I guess that's all possible. So tonight you have Giannis and you have SGA, and that's what Sam Amick said when he was on the morning show last week. The NBA is going to need to figure out a way to market the Oklahoma City Thunder because they're not going away.
Oh, I don't think we can do hot takes at this point, but I'm putting it out there. They're going to win the championship this year.
You think so?
I think they're going to win it this year. They are that good. I think, again, last year the Timberwolves learned the hard way. Remember, the Timberwolves were this team, and Vinny Goodwill had the quote that's like, you usually have to lose before you can win. And then Ant and Cat were like, ha, 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 that's so funny. And then they lost before they could win. So historically, the team like the Thunder loses at this stage, usually in the conference finals or something like that.
Right.
But they're the best team in the league, and it's not even a question right now.
Getting back into some Kings talk, we will get to the All-Star, the All-Star, the new version of the All-Star game, which has been released today. We will get to that before the end of the show. But getting back into some Kings talk, the 530 says, Monty has yet to give this core the formula of multiple athletic wing players. I think you go all in with the draft picks and go out and get multiple wings and see what happens. I think that's always been the missing formula for this team. Go out and get Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson, multiple dudes, not just one. That is from the 530. And look, it's ultimately the draft pick question. And again, we had this convo yesterday because it was reported that the Warriors were interested in Dennis Schroeder and Cam Johnson, and the Nets said, well, give us Jonathan Kuminga, and the Warriors said they didn't want to do it. Okay? So as far as Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith to the 530, I don't think that it's realistic for the Kings to give up. First of all, you got to make the money work again. So that's more, and to get both those guys, I think that's more than just Trey Lyles and Kevin Huerter. Then that from what we were hearing with the Nets wanting Kuminga, yesterday I said they might want Keegan Murray. Maybe they'll take Devin Carter. I don't know, but that's a lot. So that's the Trey Lyles, Kevin Huerter, Devin Carter. If that money works, I know we did some version of it yesterday. Devin Carter, and if we're the 530, 3 first-round picks for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. I think that's easy for us to do that in Fanspo. I don't know if Monty McNair is willing to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to put that all together. But
that's what it looks like to keep Keegan, right? And get both of them.
Yeah, and I just think that's relatively unreasonable to expect both players in the same trade because the 530 on the text line was talking about the draft picks of it all, but I think the money of it all is also a question. And we've been talking about that is the difference between Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson the difference between the number 2 seed in the West and the 6th seed in the West? The answer is no. I feel pretty confident the answer is no on that for the Kings, but I could be wrong because I would have said last year trading PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford for Grant Williams and some second-round picks was not the difference between the Mavericks being the 7th seed and going to the finals. So, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just think the money of it all is just as much of a question as the draft picks.
The Nets have so many young players. It's insane. And they're just now getting started. I mean, they got D'Anthony Melton on an expiring deal. And somebody earlier on the chat said, have you asked yourself why these players are dropping in their value? I think honestly it's just the nature of the beast. I don't think it's that this player, like I said, the Nets players they can't play any better than they've been playing, but they don't want to wait too long. Kyle Kuzma, last season he balled out. This season he's been injured. So in that situation, that makes sense to me. Doesn't mean he's a different player. I don't believe the injuries have been serious. So you have Cam Johnson and Bojan Bogdanovic to a lesser degree, but Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith just clear outliers. Cam is 28, Dorian Finney-Smith is 31. After that, and you have DeAnthony Melton, who's an expiring deal, and Bojan Bogdanovic expiring deal. He's 35. After that, Zaire Williams, 23. Cam Thomas, 23. Day'Ron Sharpe, 23. Noah Clowney, 20. Derek Whitehead, 20. Shake Milton's 28, but that's a bit random. He probably won't be there for very long. Keon Johnson, 22. Trendon Watford, 24. You have just so many young players. I mean, look, they probably don't want to, but you're going to get so many young guys. I'll do a Cam Johnson. Give me Cam Johnson and Noah Clowney. Give me Dorian Smith and Noah Clowney. I'm in. He's 20.
So this is the interesting thing about these full teardowns is at this time 2 years from now, December of 2026, 75 or 80% of that roster is not going to be on Brooklyn. I bet you 2 years from now, 4 of the players who are on this Brooklyn team will be on that Brooklyn team 2 years from now because they're going to bring in so many more young guys.
Yeah.
They have 3 first-round picks this year. They just got 3 second-round picks from the Golden State Warriors for Dennis Schroeder. They're going to have so many more guys coming in that they're just going to filter in and out.
But I think that is a direction you can go in where you can get Dorian, you can give up the farm for Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson, or do you take a chance on a Day'Ron Sharpe? You get your Dorian Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson, but then you take a chance on a Day'Ron Sharpe. You take a chance on a Noah Clowney. So at least you are getting back some young talent and say, Nets, you're not going to be developing those guys. You have so many guys coming in.
Or maybe in a package deal, maybe not for the Kings, because I think people's heads would explode if they did this, but you package Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton.
Right.
And say, take 2 of them for the price of 1, basically. We'll take the Shake Milton contract off our hands, see what you can do with him. By the way, that's how the Kings ended up with Trey Lyles when they made the Marvin Bagley trade, was the Pistons saying, take all of our guys, see if you can make reclamation projects out of any of them.
The NBA All-Star Game has changed again. We'll tell you what it's like as it's in the Bay Area, so maybe some of y'all are going. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, 45 more minutes with you. Folsom Mike, we were talking about the future of the NBA, and we really haven't spent a ton of time, and we probably will Tuesday and Wednesday. The Kings don't play again till Thursday. About these ratings and the drop in ratings, I haven't got your takes, Kyle, on it, and I haven't given mine. And of course, we want to hear from our loyal listeners, but we were having somewhat of that conversation before the break as the NBA Cup is tonight. Kyle did not know the NBA Cup is tonight. And it's the only game tonight, and it's got 2 stars. You look at the top 10, they got 2 top 10 players, maybe 2 top 5 players in the NBA Cup, and not a lot of people care.
In terms of efficiency ratings this year, you've got 2 of the 3 best players in the NBA.
There you go.
Number 1 is Giannis. Number 3 is SGA.
And your secondary, you got Dame Lillard, who's been in the league for years. He's a brand name. And it's the young guns and the OGs. That's what it is.
Battling it out for a banner.
Yep, there you go. And I hope they pop champagne again. From Folsom Mike, if you love b-ball, it's most likely because you play b-ball and you like who you want to play like. Well, there's no one that can play like Giannis, so that's why he's not relatable. That's from Folsom Mike. Okay, well then it's interesting that you say that, because number one, then why, again, nobody can jump like Michael Jordan and nobody's built like LeBron. So I'm not necessarily sure I agree with you on that, Folsom Mike. And conversely, coming from the Bay, funny enough, I think Steph got a lot of hate because he was too normal looking. And people like to watch stuff they can't do. People like my dad, who can't stand Steph Curry, feel like he just chucks it up and he makes 3-pointers. And if anybody practice, that's why there's so many fake Steph Curry things or Steph Curry disciples right now, because a lot of people feel like if I just practice enough, I can be Steph Curry. There are people that love Steph because of that. There are people that can't stand Steph because they feel like that should be me. I'm sick. I go on bar and I see a bunch of 6'3" dudes walking around. There are a bunch of dudes that are built like Steph, but they can't shoot like him. So I think it goes both ways. There are some people that like to be in awe of players. And I would say if you were in awe of somebody, look at the NFL. That's why in part why people love the NFL. Even if a dude is 5'8", he's got Olympic speed, and he's getting hit by 6'10" dudes. So I don't think I'm with you on that, Folsom Mike.
I disagree with Folsom Mike's point. I want to play like Angel Reese. We're the same height. I can't grab 18 rebounds in a game. Just can't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that that's not a player I want to watch play basketball.
And it's fun, and maybe it's because of the whole not a lot of dunking thing, because Caitlin Clark hasn't had an effect at all.
Caitlin Clark is the most beloved basketball player in America, and we can't shoot like Caitlin Clark. None of y'all can shoot like Caitlin Clark.
The Giannis thing doesn't make sense because none of us can do what anybody can do in the NBA.
Which 3 years ago, everyone loved Giannis. Giannis might have been the most beloved basketball player 3 years ago.
I don't know, man. I think there was just always something missing with Giannis.
I don't know.
And I'll be honest, could it be the international thing? I think it's possible. When we were going through everything I just said last segment, when it went from MJ to LeBron to Kobe to LeBron to Steph, all those 4 All-American.
Yeah, but
I don't think that's a huge part. But SGA is Canadian.
Yeah,
you have the Greek freak, but I do think it's some of it. It's
probably a small part of the pie, because I think playing style does matter a whole lot in these conversations. Hence why people dunk on Luka and James Harden. Even though I look at Luka and James Harden, I'm like, that's amazing. They might be 2 of the greatest offensive players I've ever seen, but style of play makes a difference in some of these fights.
So yeah, it's tough to put your finger on, but I don't know how well the NBA Cup is going to do tonight. And
don't worry, Allen. Wemby will one day be a star, and then we won't have to worry about any of this anymore.
I have no clue, because Wemby, again, another international player. I don't know. Is Wemby just going to be? So Wemby is a good example, because we think we will have the greatest ever conversation on Wemby, which makes people want to watch. They're not just going to watch for somebody who's pretty good. We have 2 players tonight that are playing that nobody thinks either of them are going to be the best ever at anything. Maybe SGA one day, but
I think that misses the point.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that's what casual watchers watch.
That's what the NBA thinks casual watchers will watch, because they've been selling the LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry
it's
thing
true.
for a decade.
It's true.
I think they had a chance, and they just doubled down on the LeBron, Steph, and Kate. The 3.
You gotta milk it though.
I don't think they had to milk it this long. I think 4 years ago, the pandemic year when LeBron won the championship, that was their year to back off. And then I think what happened was
he won.
Well, no, he won. But then the Warriors won in 22. Warriors stole a championship on the watch of the new generation of stars.
Yeah.
And I think that flipped up the game a little bit on the summer of Steph and the summer of the Warriors. Like they just milked that.
Here's
thing.
the problem. 2020, the Lakers win. Okay.
Yeah.
2021, the Bucks win. Okay. This is Giannis's time now. And they beat Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a secondary guy.
Yep.
Warriors come in, they steal that championship, so you got to continue to milk that cow. All right, they come in, they win a random one, and then the Nuggets? Jokic wins, and he doesn't even want to be there. He doesn't really want to be marketed. That's a small market. Jokic is not. I'm not saying he's not marketable. I'm saying he doesn't want to be marketable.
And then last year, Boston wins the championship, and now we're transitioning out of the old Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. I mean, the Bucks have turned it around, but it was starting to look like that window was closing for those teams.
It's funny because if Adam Silver were to choose between the Bucks, and I'm just saying the Bucks because Giannis is on the brain because they're playing tonight. If Adam Silver were to choose between the Bucks winning last season, or you could choose between the Bucks, the Mavericks, and the Celtics, I do wonder what his order is, because obviously the Celtics would bring in the most views, but the Celtics are basically a faceless team because Jason Tatum, it's just they're such a good team. Jason Tatum is not Jason Tatum is not in any conversation to be the best anything. So would he have rathered a Mavericks team to where, great, now we're going to start the Luka, the lore of Luka, or great, we're going to add a championship to Giannis, so maybe he could be in a best whatever conversation. The Celtics got a random championship and nobody cares because they were just the best team.
Well, so here's the miscalculation on the Celtics is one, they were selling Jason Tatum, and what ended up happening is the Celtics ended up being better with Jason Tatum as a number 2 than as a number 1. And that threw everything into flux. Also, last year's playoffs, just the Celtics never got challenged at all, which was tough. But now we're kind of going into this new. Again, if you had to say who are the 5 best basketball players who are between the age of 26 and 30 right now, if you had to say, I would go Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker. Who after that? I don't know. But I'm just saying those are probably the 5.
Yeah.
They've all had, except for Embiid, which is the anomaly of it all. But the other 4 have all either been to the championship or won a championship in the last 5 years. And now you see Luka get to the championship. You're seeing the Thunder be the favorites for the championship. You're seeing Boston led by 2 guys who are not exactly the same, they're not the same age as Giannis, but they're kind of in the same group because of all those playoff battles they used to have. That generation is about to compete with the old guys, and now we get kind of those battles of old guard, Giannis versus new guard, SGA, could end up meeting in the playoffs, but tonight you get them in the NBA Cup, and it's kind of like a precursor to the direction the league is headed, right? It's SGA, it's Luka, it's Santa Claus going up against Giannis, Jokic, maybe Embiid, and Anthony Davis for the generational battles.
916 says, this is getting back to Folsom Mike. Whole generation copied Michael Jordan. No one could jump. Giannis doesn't do anything you want because you're not a Greek freak. Name one of his moves you want to steal. I think that's a decent point, Folsom Mike, because Kobe, everybody was yelling Kobe. But again, LeBron, same idea, and LeBron's been absurdly marketable. Got to get to a break. We're way over time. On the other side, we give you the breakdown on this NBA All-Star. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile,
Customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is expanding. I guess you could say the Super Shop is getting more super. That means more for you. More apparel, more equipment, more shoes, more gift ideas, more of everything you want. If you're looking for the right gift for the golfer in your life, let the friendly team of Hagen Oaks experts help you find the perfect gift. From golf bags to golf balls, from golf pants to golf shirts, from rain gear to golf gloves, Hagen Oaks has it all. And much is on sale. Visit the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Rare Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80, or find us at HagenOaks.com.
Meda Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates. Year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MedaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. When it's cold and rainy outside, Bonnie is leading the way home. Right now, stay warm and cozy with a full furnace tune-up, just $59. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Schedule an appointment today at Bonnie.com.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. With over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
To Fox, right wing. This time it's a three-point attempt. De'Aaron Fox from downtown makes it 127-125. 40 seconds to go. Advances Jamal Murray. Screen from Jokic. Murray drives back to the Joker. Sets his feet. Launches the three. Buries the triple. Denver on top. 128-127. 30 seconds to go.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
If you're headed to the Bay for the NBA All-Star Game, you won't be seeing the classic Team A versus Team B. This is what you will be seeing as the NBA, and again, Underdog has dropped this information. NBA finalizes the 2025 All-Star Game format. 4 teams, single elimination tournament, games played to 40, 3 teams of All-Stars. 4th team is the Rising Stars champion. All-Star team GMs, Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny. The Rising Stars GM is Candace Parker. Each player on the winning team receives $125K. And Kevin Durant says he hates the new NBA All-Star format. He said, I absolutely hate it. Terrible. We should just go back to East-West. So a couple of things can be true here. we can agree with Kevin Durant that we hate it, that we hate the new setup, but I don't want to hear that from Kevin Durant and other NBA players because you're the reason we're here. You're here because you don't want to play defense. You want it to be some type of exhibition. So I might agree with Kevin Durant. You might agree with Kevin Durant, but you're the reason we're here, Kevin Durant. Not you, but you and your NBA brethren. So I don't want to hear about the fact that you don't like the setup. That makes no sense to me. Okay? Because we're here because y'all didn't want to play for real and we stopped caring. And maybe we'll care more with this 4-team tournament. Maybe we won't. But again, I don't want to hear it from you, Kevin Durant.
I kind of agree with Kevin Durant.
But it's not about agreeing with Kevin Durant and not agreeing with Kevin Durant. I don't want to hear it from Kevin Durant.
Okay. So
go talk to your buddies and say, hey, let's play hard so they stop doing this dumb stuff.
Okay. Then you can hear it from me. I hate this. I hate this. And I've made a joke for a few years now that the NBA All-Star Game goes through, like the Ben Simmons cycle or the Buddy Hield cycle memes that people make. The NBA All-Star cycle is new format gets people excited. By year 2, people lose interest. By year 3, they're actively complaining about the All-Star Game. And the NBA just switches the format every 3 years and goes through that cycle. And I think we've done the cycle enough now that I think people are wise to the fact that none of these are actually going to make it better. So, let's just skip the whole process of pretending it's going to be exciting and just say that this is probably going to be very bad and boring. And I'll watch the first quarter and people will do some cool dunks and then I will stop watching.
Look, man, all I got to say is there's no reason to not give it a shot. And again, I don't want to hear it from, it's like that show, I Think You Should Leave. I can't remember if that's on Netflix or whatever it's on. And that one skit where he says he's clearly been the one doing it. He goes, we have to find out who's been doing this.
Oh, in the hot dog costume?
Yeah. We have to find out who's been doing this.
We all know the guy who's been doing this. Yeah.
And that's Kevin Durant. I hate this. It's terrible. All right. Well, this is why we're here.
But that battle's been lost. Like people keep making the argument if you just tried harder in the All-Star, that battle's been lost, man. Do you remember was it Halliburton and Edwards a couple years ago when they were like, I'm just going to go and have fun, man. I don't really care. Like
right.
That battle's been lost. There's no way to bring back the meaning you're looking for in the All-Star Game, not with an Elam ending or a snake draft where they did produce the all-time funny moment of no one wanted to pick James Harden after he forced his trade out of Brooklyn because they wanted to make Kevin Durant take him. No snake drafts, no Elam endings, no tournament formats are going to make the All-Star Game entertaining.
But what happened to the kids? Why are they getting paid? Why are the players getting paid money? I know Rising Stars, they need some cash, but each player on the winning team receives $125K. Where are the kids? I want the kids on the court again. Hey, you bricked the shot. You're taking money out of my pocket. That's what I want. That's the last time we all cared.
Yeah, I get that, but also the flip side is they can't afford to pay them any more money because the All-Star Game's just not worth that amount of money.
No, they can. Use the NBA Cup money. You're bragging about your TV deals. Use that money.
Well, my theory, and I've been this way about the Pro Bowl, is that it just should not exist anymore. And the same thing with the NBA All-Star Game. But if you're willing to write a check for $50 million to broadcast the event every year and just plaster all sorts of advertisements around it, then they're going to keep trying to do it. But it's just, it doesn't need to exist. You can name the All-Star teams. You can do the recognition. The game itself doesn't have to exist. So I don't understand the people who complain about like the quality of the content. Just accept it for what it is. It's a chance to watch LeBron James throw an alley-oop to Kevin Durant, and it's going to be cool. And sometimes Steph will crouch down on the floor while Giannis is dunking over him, and that's fine.
You know, the one thing that has kind of compounded this issue is it's not just the All-Star Game. It's the dunk competition. It's the fact that not only has the All-Star Game gone down the sewer because these guys don't want to try, but the whole weekend is shot because the 3-point is fun. That's fine. Unless you're, Kevin Huerter and things have got rough since then. But the slam dunk competition to me is maybe even the bigger issue. Because if Saturday was just a fire night and Sunday is what it is, which is kind of what it had always been, that's fine. The problem is now the Stars don't want to do, and this has been going on for years, it's LeBron's fault. Now the Stars don't want to dunk, right? So now you have Mac McClung and some other, you got, what's his name, Duncan and Timberlands and just doing bizarre stuff. That's the issue. So it's one thing for the game to suck, but now the Saturday night events, that's no good either. Well, 3-point is fun. I mean, the Steph, who was it? Steph and Ionescu last season, that was fun. But the dunk contest, you can't have the dunk contest and the game be trash.
So what was the year that Derek Jones Jr. went back and forth with Aaron Gordon? That was 2020, I think it was. And
yes.
2015 was the year that Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine had that crazy all-timer of it. So my theory is just every 5 years you're due for an incredible dunk contest. The problem is you just have to kind of wait every 4 years for an epic all-timer of a dunk contest to come through. My theory on the dunk contest, I don't know if you remember a bunch of years ago, they did a show on TNT where it was a dunk contest, like weeks on end, like a 10-episode series of a dunk contest between actual professional dunkers.
Yes.
One of the most entertaining things I've ever seen is professional dunkers going back and forth against each other. So my theory is just make celebrities out of these professional dunkers because they are so good and so exciting. Instead of just saying, let's get bigger NBA stars to do it, just get professional dunkers on YouTube and TikTok to actually do these competitions. There's a couple of guys, I think the Kilcannon brothers, who do incredible dunks. Get them to do one dunk contest and people would totally change their tune because it's going to be dudes doing literal backflips and dunking.
But I've been okay with that. I'm okay with, I'd rather professional dunkers than G Leaguers. Let's just blow the whole thing out, give these guys a real platform. Let's do that. I would rather do that.
That's the way to fix the dunk contest. Instead of, even if John Morant participated in the dunk contest, that's not enough to save the
yes,
dunk
it
contest.
is.
No, it wouldn't.
No, it is. We got to get to a break. We'll ask Whitey Gleason and confirm that I'm right and Kyle is wrong. One more segment with you, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness, but money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
The 10 to 2 slot, so much can happen throughout the course of the day. Now, De'Aaron Fox, we're joined by Whitey Gleason of the Drive Guys. They're coming at you here at 2 p.m. Now, De'Aaron Fox, we don't know when this stuff gets recorded, but clearly De'Aaron Fox didn't lose the game last night and then hop on a podcast. We believe it was probably done during his shoe promo tour. So you have all of that going on. I don't know. Is Whitey's mic working?
I don't think it's on.
Because I'm not hearing it in my headphones.
Maybe I have the wrong mic.
It is. He just has the wrong microphone.
There we go.
So this guy,
so many microphones.
New in the game.
I understand how that was confusing. The wrong microphone was in front of him, so he was talking into mic 2.
There we go. So Whitey,
sorry about that.
Yeah, so obviously we came out the gates talking about the Kings Nuggets game, and that took us pretty much throughout the whole course of the show. Anything exciting from the De'Aaron piece? More of the same? I mean, he's been everywhere, so I don't know. I know he talks about the playoffs from a couple years ago. Again, I don't know if people want to just close the book on that. Did you got to it already?
I just think it's interesting that he keeps saying that. It's like, we kind of know that. Why does he keep saying it?
What, the get better thing?
Yeah. Just, he keeps saying, well, I'd like to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And he has every right to. I'm not criticizing him. I just think it's interesting. A lot of guys, when they have a contract coming up, they will say stuff like, we'll deal with that when I'm focused on this right now, whatever. And I appreciate his honesty. This isn't a criticism, but it is fascinating that every chance he's asked about that, he said the same thing to Kyle and I on Media Day. He told us, he said, I got more time than tomorrow, but I don't have time to waste. So he's very clear on, how he's feeling about this. I'd like to stay here, but I'm going to need to see that we're headed in the right direction. I think it's really interesting.
I got to be careful here, and I don't know that I would have this convo with Mr. Draper, but
he's right out there. So if you want to, we can bring him in.
When De'Aaron is saying this stuff, again, I'm trying to be careful here. Does it sound like because I've always felt like if he leaves to go somewhere, I don't know that he will be a number one somewhere else. I think he would be more of a 1B number 2, depending on where he goes, if he wants to win that bad. The way he keeps saying this, and I know he's getting asked, and like you said, he's being very open about it. Doesn't it sound like we're talking about, if you were to not know who's saying this stuff, wouldn't you think we're talking about a Luka or a SGA?
Well,
Isn't it a little much?
If he isn't already, he's on track to be the best player in franchise history. So,
that's not what I'm asking though. I'm saying the way he's talking, like y'all need to put this stuff around me. We're kind of acting like you've been in an MVP conversation when you haven't.
Actually, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know that he's phrased it that way. He said, I want to make sure I want to win, he said. I want to make sure we're putting together a team. I've never heard him say that I can recall. Put a team around me that's going to win. He just says he wants the organization to be focused on winning. He wants the organization to be in position to win.
But that's why, yes, and that's why
I think that's different than saying, you better put the right pieces around me.
But he's not going to say that. I think we're saying the same thing in that he is okay not being a number one. He wants to win, and he's from this. He's literally signed to Steph Curry's shoe deal. So I think there is a level of some of these stars are okay with, hey, you take whatever the best basketball play is, right? And it doesn't have to be me, the Mamba mentality per se. Some guys like to play like that. Some guys don't. Because with that being said, when we came in to bring it back to the Nuggets game last night, there was a moment where I went pretty darn old school. And I understand the play was perfect. I do think that it's possible Jokic does get there to hack DeMar, but I will take DeMar's chances at the free throw line. Perfect play.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, both Kentucky Brethrens, both point guards, comes in your house. He sprays in your house, right in your face.
Are you saying that De'Aaron didn't make or take the last shot, so that means he's not as good as?
I didn't say any of that. Okay. I did not say any of that.
Suggesting?
All I'm saying is that when we're talking about, like I said, I'm being very old school here. This is very the whole show. I said this is going to be a very traditional radio show, and that's just what it is. The best player, I know Jokic came to throw a double, and it might have been Westbrook or Jamal Murray. That was never, the play was never 40 Aaron, because they assumed that he was going to do that. Perfect play. All I'm saying is and the game should have never been in this situation. They were up 10 with 4 minutes, something like that. But is there any part when De'Aaron is saying, I want to win, a team needs to be, the organization, whatever wording it is, it's money time. The game is on the line. Jamal, they found a way to get Jamal Murray a couple shots now, and you are the clutch player of the year a couple years ago.
I think he made the right play. They ran, as I recall.
I'm not asking if it's the right play though.
Well, then you should be, because that's more important than whether he forced a shot because it was him.
Allen, you're actively pushing for a worse outcome by pushing that take. Have you learned nothing from 20 years of LeBron?
He runs the pick and roll with
and De'Aaron ain't LeBron.
And if they don't play that well, he's going right to the basket. So he makes the right read, gives it to Domas, which is a great play because you're really attacking Jokic. That's who you're attacking. Domas drives. He makes the right play. They get it to DeRozan, fumbles the ball, and still gets an 8-footer doesn't go in. To take that and say, hey, if De'Aaron Fox is going to demand that they improve the team around him, he needs to make the game-winning shot.
No, I'm asking. I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that.
I'm nowhere near that with you.
I'm not there either.
He's just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions. I'm not
Sounds
there.
like that's what you're asking, and the answer is a resounding no.
No, I just thought I'd throw that out to you. You can throw it right on back.
Speaking of throwing things out, while you guys have both been on the air, and I think this might be some sort of intervention here, Cody Bellinger just got traded to the Yankees.
Okay.
Whitey Gleason, your thoughts?
He's an interesting player. He's very versatile. Positionless baseball.
It hurts my back when he swings.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys about this if you think this is interesting. This happened last night. We finished our show, and then I'm heading down, to the dining area.
Okay.
And just as I get down there, reporters are coming out of the session, Michael Malone's session with the media. So I see, Matt George and John Dickinson. Everybody's coming. Sean Cunningham, they're all coming out. So some of them end up sitting down and eating. And so I'm eating with them, Biederman, Frankie, and Brendan. And they're saying, did you hear what Michael Malone said? He said, Domantas Sabonis is the best playmaker in history. And we're going, what? It's like, and I wasn't in there, but they were saying this. Michael Malone said, Domantas Sabonis is the best playmaker in history. And then like a rim shot, like it's a joke, right? So we're going, And then Matt George is like, who said that? Everyone's going, who said that? I don't know anyone who said that. Matt George looks it up, and he finds that in that long ESPN piece about Domantas Sabonis, Mike Brown is quoted as saying, Domantas Sabonis, I'm not saying he's better than Jokic, but he's a better playmaker. So I think Michael Malone was going after Mike Brown last night before the game.
Wow. And that whole, I know people are, I'm still trying to learn the whole Michael Malone drama thing out here in Sacramento.
I think Michael Malone is never going to want to get over that.
And do you think a lot of people last night, there was some talk about whether he should, I saw someone, well, it annoys me that, and I'm done with him. Basically, he's worn out the fact that, hey, I understand that you're annoyed, and now people are saying, hey, I know I'm actually getting annoyed now because you've worn it out. You can't tell somebody, this is when, hey, this is when,
you're a competitor.
Yeah.
When they need, sometimes they need to find something to grab onto.
Yeah.
To help fuel those competitive fires. CJ McCollum against the Kings. They didn't draft me. CJ, those people aren't even here anymore.
Right.
But okay, it works for him. Klay Thompson when he plays against the Kings. So if that's what it takes for Michael Malone to stoke those fires, that's his right.
Yeah, and right now it's Klay against the Warriors. He balled out.
Yeah,
and he really hasn't been playing very well, but he's been playing really well.
PJ Washington gave him the night.
Yeah, and I don't know how that's gonna end. And he did it on the bench too. If you're gonna do it, do it to their face. But and we haven't even had any Warriors Kings yet this season. This season, man. This season. Now, luckily, they'll probably have Cam Johnson and or Dorian Finney-Smith by the time that happens.
Don't say these things. They're not funny. They're not amusing.
Why not?
They're troubling. When you say they, who are you talking about?
The Kings.
Oh, I thought you meant the Warriors.
Oh, no, sorry. They'll have Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, actually, this came out. Jimmy Butler, Shams just said that Jimmy Butler has narrowed it down. Essentially,
not a free agent.
I know. Suns and Warriors are Jimmy's top preferred trade destination. This just came out an hour ago.
And then Jimmy's agent's going to say, right? Jimmy's butler, essentially, is going to say, will you stop that? You're wrong.
Hey, he can do whatever he wants. But the Kings, look, win or lose, I think they have to get better in some capacity. What was your biggest takeaway? Are you doing the moral victory thing?
I take my cues from the coach. I don't know how much of him you played today.
But the whole opening.
He was really upset with, again, that lack of attention to detail. So I understand how someone could be encouraged. But like I said, I'm taking my cue from him, and he was really unhappy last night.
Yeah.
He could have said, boy, we're shorthanded. This was quite an effort. We came up short. But that's not the way he went with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe there's a reason for that. We'll see what happens. We got a couple days until the Kings play again, and to that point, they've had a lot of time off. I know somehow they had so much time off and just got less healthy. I don't really know how that happened. So they have a couple more days. Then they take on LeBron, the Lakers, and LeBron, we don't know if he went to Germany, got some stem cells, but he's looking like he's ready to go.
The holiday schedules: Lakers, Pacers, Pistons, fa la 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 la. So win some of those games.
There we go. Hey, more of that. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Drive Guys coming up next. Thank you, Kyle. As always, think of the callers, texters, sack chatters. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need